Morning, people. It is Tuesday, the 1st of August, first of the month. Welcome to TDA, the day after, the home of popular culture and your favourite news platform. Well, that's the wrong way around. It's your favourite news platform and the home of popular culture as decided by you lot, the culture. Am I this one?
Yeah.
Yes. This is news for me.
So how many people have seen you straight on before?
Okay. I don't know how I feel about that. But morning, people. Hope you are all right. As usual, we're brought to you by the best. Care to introduce yourself, guys?
They call me E-Man, the pro-black activist, TDA producer and news analyst. And of course, the melanin is jam-packed.
Missed you yesterday.
Well, I feel good to be back, man.
Right, where was you?
I was working behind the scenes, man. I was laying the foundation. You know what I'm saying? you know, Brent, like every now and again, Brent will get excited and tell the people what we're working on, right? With TMB, the new black, right? Because a lot of the time people confuse TMB with TDA, innit?
Yeah.
But TDA is under TMB. Just like there'll be other things that we bring out, basically, underneath TMB. So basically, there are certain things that we're kind of working on, again, with the whole TMB, bringing it together, this, that, and the third. And I pretty much can't do some of those things whilst being here. So long story short, I had to take out time from here to go and work on those things, innit?
But it's all for a good cause, right?
Oh, 100%, 100%.
There you go, then.
You know he's not going to be here next week, Monks.
Huh?
You know he's not going to be here next week.
What, the whole week?
It's a lot of work to do, man.
Okay.
It's not linked to TV. Don't try that.
It's not linked. It's not linked.
What, another holiday?
This is what I'm saying. I've been saying the same thing. Why? Every day, holiday. But yeah, family and that, innit?
This is crazy.
This is what they do, man.
I'm going on holiday soon anyway.
Where you going?
I don't know yet. I don't know, but I'm going. Trust me. Soon. No, I'm here for the next few months at least. But
Okay, good.
Why do people want us to talk about Love Island?
oh, because Whitney never won, probably.
Was she the best candidate?
I mean, she was the streets' favourite.
As in the black streets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
She
not.
got the black vote, but I don't know what they thought was going to happen.
Okay.
Just all this, I don't understand why they're so upset. They're acting like they don't understand what country we live in. You get me? Like, I done the maths. I mean, I'm probably even sure I might even have said it to Esther when we spoke about it one time. I said like Sammy and Jess might win because when you look at the contestants who are the favourites, you could just whittle it down. You get me? They didn't like Molly and Zach because they resented Molly because she got a chance to come back, and obviously Zach's almost like he presents black as well. You get me? He's talking like the undercover feds all the time, so Middle Earth wasn't gonna like him. Yeah. Tyreek and Ella thought they were. I don't know who they thought they were, but Tyreek badding up the gal every week, telling them to shut up and shush, especially when he said it to Jess and that, shut up this, shush this, rest of the day and going on wicked. I could see Middle Earth weren't going to be feeling that, so they weren't going to promote him to king. Whitney was my favourite. I wanted her to win.
Yeah.
You get me? But I just think she was too black for them. They weren't. I don't think she was going to get the vote. And then it left Jess and Sammy. And everyone's like, no, because Sammy's a piece of shit, whatnot. But it's like, that's where they're going to be most comfortable voting. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, Jess done a lot of the heavy lifting. And they like Jess. They don't really like Sammy. They like Jess. And it was just like, it was just a safe vote for them. I could see that happening all the time. So I weren't shocked. Britain, like, Love Island nearly made Britain great again. You get me? Because if Whitney won, that would have been a vibe. But I think it's just one step too far. And didn't the light skin you win? The light skin you and the Indian gal won the winter one. You know what I'm trying to say? That so like that was all too much. Too many people of colour for once. The clean sweep. They weren't having that. Plus, all they're doing is just sitting there chatting shit on Twitter, and they're not voting on that. You know what I'm trying to say? Bare of them ain't voting. They just, and this is what black people do. They just sit in their yard and they cuss. Oh, very It's just, you get what I'm saying? But they're not supporting. You get me? They're not doing the boots on the ground thing. And I know a lot of people probably did vote, but all of you lot didn't. And even if all of you lot did, you lot would have been outnumbered anyway. So I don't know what they're mad about.
Vicky said the same thing in the chat, man. Firstly, did you guys all vote? You know what I'm saying? Did you guys vote? We're
And
just
the answer would be
complaining.
no.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I loved Whitney. Yeah. Ask me if I voted for her.
Did you vote Mugs?
No, what type of vote are we talking about? Listen, I wasn't that invested. I was gonna love Whitney come what may, you get me? But big her up, man. We need to see if we can get her on the show or something, man. Get me?
Definite.
Yeah, so I just guess that, I guess that's what they want to talk about because they was upset, but I'm not really too bothered. I tapped out a few weeks ago anyway.
Did you feel like this is like one of them? This is the best chance Blacks are gonna get
to win
for that first spot.
I don't know because obviously we are making progression. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, firstly, when there was a lot of colour on this island, you get me, and people was a bit worried, saying, "Oh, they're never going to do it again." But it produced one of the best seasons. You know what I'm trying to say? So they might not be scared to go again. It shows that a bit of diversity can go a long way. You get me?
Well, like from whose perspective was it like one of the best seasons? Is it like a across the board type thing, or mainly just like the ethnics?
Again, see, I don't know. I haven't tapped into Middle Earth to find out how they really felt. But I mean, it was entertaining, man. Like come on, man, you can't. That hate can't sit in your heart for too long. Once you get past all the racism and whatnot, they was watching. It was definitely entertaining. It was definitely entertaining. It was even if it wouldn't be like the best one or whatever, it was one of the better ones in recent history in the last couple of years or whatever. Okay. I think everyone should be able to understand that. The ratings was low at the beginning, innit?
Yeah.
I don't know if they picked up on it. I haven't checked, but it was all right, man. It was good, but. You know the ghetto's like. As long as we like it, as far as we're concerned, that's all that matters. You know what I'm trying to say, like, the streets was rocking with this Love Island, definitely. So yeah, it was good, man.
All right.
But I told him I want to see a spin-off show. I want the cameras to follow Tyreek and Ella in their relationship because this ain't gonna go smooth at all.
Not at all.
Like. Donny's, what he say? He's got over 100 bodies at 24. This is his first gal. And he's going to come outside to the streets to all that fanfare. And he thinks, and he's talking about, oh yeah, we need to live together. Because she's in Scotland, so the long distance thing's already a myth. She needs to move down. Because you've done a little time on a little island, you think you know about living with gal? This guy, oh my God. Outside is going to hit these man hard. All them little club appearances and that. Yeah. And remember, they've been deprived. They don't know what Leng is. He thinks she's the coldest thing in the world because that's all he had in the yard. When you come outside and you see proper good food, he's going to be starving. I want to see...
Lohan?
Huh?
Lohan?
No, I'm talking about Tyreek. Lockham seems like a good youth. He seems like a good youth. I don't think he has to worry about those things. Obviously, all men are susceptible to those kind of dangers anyway, but I don't think that's going to be at the forefront of his mind. He seems like he seems like a he don't seem like a starving youth. But then again, you can't judge a book by its cover. You get what I'm trying to say? These men are going to be going hard outside. You get me, for the next few months, doing their thing, earning money. Their whole life's going to change. You get what I'm trying to say? And they don't know what they don't know, innit? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, so they can chat all their shit. Their relationships are going to be in tatters soon. And I would love to watch the demise. Yeah, because he don't know nothing. This guy thinks he's a player and that. Like, he said he's 24 and he ain't never had a gal. Any man that's 24, 25 and ain't never had a serious girlfriend, you don't know good things. You're not outside like you think. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because there's levels and brackets. That means you ain't never had a proper painting, like, ever.
Can you explain what that means, please? Because
when you're young,
a certain age and I didn't have a proper girlfriend.
Huh?
Go on, explain.
You got to a certain age.
Yeah,
but you're not a killer.
Oh, is that what you mean?
Yeah, you're not a killer, Brent, man. Come on, man, relax, man.
I don't think I was. I don't want to be. What?
No, because man's moving like Tyreek's a savage, innit? He does his thing with the gal and all that 100 bodies, very rare. You got to 24 and you ain't had a serious girlfriend. That means you ain't never had a painting in your life. You don't know what you're doing with gal. When you get young, like your first few girlfriends are just off looks. You get what I'm trying to say? You get the baddest thing in your area. That's my gal. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you lock it down and whatnot. To never have a girlfriend, don't have a serious girlfriend by that age, then yeah, I don't know what you was doing. That means you're just chopping, like, you're just rocking with the young things and that, and there's no real experience there. You get what I'm trying to say? He's not as wicked as he thinks he is, but like I said, I would love to. ITV needs to just do a spin-off show and just follow them, because I just need to see how that's planned out, because she's gonna cry a lot.
But he could be a changed man. Maybe she's the one to make him, you know what I mean? Like, you know, say goodbye to his old ways and that.
I don't see it. Maybe for a little bit.
Do you feel like, you know, the whole situation that they had where she came back from Castle Moore with some next guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he's forgotten that, or is that in the back of his head?
That's going to be in the back of his head when he's outside doing stupidness. You know what I'm trying to say? That that's where he's buried deep. That's going to be the foundations. That's how he justifies all the fuckery he's about to get up to. You get me? Because when they get in the argument, they're like, don't remember you first. You done it first, you know, or you know like that.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to bring it up now, but it's going to stay. Them things that are stored. You get me? When them things that stay stored when you're having your proper arguments. When you need that, you know, you need that haymaker. You know, you need that equalizer. You get what I'm trying to say? Yeah, he's gonna bring that up. He's gonna bring that up definitely at some point. But again, I don't know. Do I sound like a hater? Like I've got no faith in man.
Not really, you know. Not really. I mean,
you can say what you want. I know what I know. Yeah, I know what I know, and they might not even know it, but I can see it, and I can see how this is panning out. I don't know how long they got. They might be longer than I think, but yeah, trust me. It's gonna be a problem.
I guess we wish them the best, man.
Yeah, no, we wish him all the best, man. Congratulations on the success. You get me? Go do the OK Hello magazine thing and all that. Go get some bread, man. Go get your paper. Definitely wish you all the best, man. We'd love to see love over here.
This is it, man.
All right, well, we've got a question of the day. I'm going to throw it out to the room. What is your favourite way to give back to your community?
Doing TDA.
I like that.
What was it before?
Thinking about TDA. Probably, you know, trying to support Yoruba Nation, you know what I'm saying? By, you know, I mentioned it on the show before. You know what I mean? Just trying to support the causes, you know, because of the nonsense that's happening back home, which is still happening, by the way. But yeah, but back here at home, the best way. To be fair, I'm not too sure, you know. I feel like my giving back, this may sound like a bit of a cop-out, right? But I feel like it was more so the preparation for what I feel like I'm going to be doing. You know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. So more so just kind of preparing myself and knowing, okay, yeah, cool, this is what I want to do. This is my dreams, my hopes and aspirations that I feel like can benefit everybody in some type of capacity anyway, and kind of preparing for that. You know what I'm saying?
So you feel the community doesn't have any borders? When you hear community, you're not talking about in this particular London, in this particular East. You're talking about just the black community across the world?
That's what I was thinking. At first, I was thinking, I was thinking.
Why do you go to the world first? How come you don't start from home?
But where's home?
Wherever you are and wherever your immediate grouping of blacks are, no?
I mean, no, but it starts there. But I don't see it as just remaining local, innit? So in my mind, if there was something that would benefit the local, it would benefit the, you know what I'm saying, the world in the same way. That's kind of how I see it.
So you were, let me not push back on this. I mean, you answered your question to me.
What about you, Brett?
I think each time it is somebody comes in here, right, given a good account of myself, I extend as much help and grace as possible, and expertise as possible. I keep my word. And each time anybody hits me up, whether they've been referred or recommended by somebody else that I know, I then bring them in and then offer them the same thing. So bit by bit, I guess,
You build your
I'm
community
serving.
up.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah. That's what I was doing before.
You've always done.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, I've had dreams of grandeur. Like I've always wanted to basically supercharge it. And I don't know, maybe it's my parents. Maybe they were teachers, isn't it? So maybe they instilled in me the desire to feel as though I'm part of a bigger piece and to serve that bigger piece well.
Yeah.
So anything I look to do in my head, it's always how well can I basically turn up for all these people, even the ones I don't know yet.
I hear that.
Yeah. I think that keeps me, even though I keep seeing black people don't want to be helped, that's all. And they'd rather stab people in their backs and whatnot.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Okay. How do I help my community? Slammings, man. Just.
That's how you give back, yeah. Man said, thank you, and here you go.
The community needs good things. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, you get me? The bereft of quality in the community. You get what I'm trying to say? So, try to give back, man. Just try to help. You get me? Give back.
Do you guys see community as more so where you live, or maybe race or some other type of thing that you identify with?
I think my community would be like, how would I describe my community? I feel like I've got different communities. I don't think it's all one. So I believe in community in like where I live. You know what I'm trying to say? That so like my neighbours and the people that live in that area, and the shopkeepers and just everybody from my areas. That's just one part of thing. That's just one part of community. I'd like to think if I saw anything happen to any of them, I would try and help them or anything. You know what I'm trying to say? Just to be pleasant and whatever. It's important to have a good community where you live. You know what I'm trying to say? And then there's like my work community. You know what I'm trying to say? That so like the people that are in the same space as me, like content creators and musicians and that kind of stuff. I look at that as a community. You get me? And then just like, I don't know, just like black people as a whole. You know what I'm trying to say? Like yeah. So I just think that there's different things to different kind of communities. We've all got different kind of communities, kind of thing.
Bro, what about you, Brent?
Sorry, what did you ask me?
What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think community?
Thank you very much for the super chat, Christy.
Big up, Christy.
It's the first of the month.
It's the birthday month, and she said every day she's gonna give money.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We appreciate
So
you,
what
Christy.
a way to celebrate your birthday month, innit?
Oh, we love that.
It's better to give than to receive, man.
This is it, as Mark said. There you go. What's the question again?
When you think community, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Is it like where you live, or some particular ideal that you kind of identify with?
Yeah, I don't think it's where I live. I think it may have been where I lived.
Good morning, caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a big fan of the show. Well, I'm live.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah, well, today's the 1st of August, so I'm just calling in to wish Mars a happy Graduano Day.
What was that, sir?
More life, more bread,
Why was it last
more
year?
crutches. Yeah, 1st of August, so
Okay.
less friend zone. People, no behavior to the world and back. See you later.
Yes.
Blessings. Was it actually this time last year?
I don't know. It would have been around the same time because the gala's next week.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it would have been around the same time.
Thank you very much, Urban TV UK. Everybody go and check out his channel, Wavy Videos.
Big up Urban TV.
Yeah, what was I saying? I think if it is I lived, for example, when we moved to Leighton, that felt like community because all our neighbors were black. I think a couple were Greek, but they that feeling of community was present. So 100% I would have called that community, but not anymore.
Okay.
Is where I live right now? Nah. That's a bit disjointed. And then my community is now those who I've welcomed into my particular circle, and that's who I call or deem community.
Okay.
So because there's not, is it Is it like because there's not enough black people? Or is it not people like? Does it?
I don't think it's because it's black. Because 10 years ago, I had a couple Irish neighbors across the road and next to me, and that felt like community because I was over in their backyard all the time. Not me personally, as in it was my father, and then obviously now that my father now makes the introduction, I could now basically go over all the time, and then they would call me to do things because obviously there's a young guy here, everybody else is not here, so come and help me. So that way, I got to know them. So in a sense, yeah, they felt closer to me than not closer to me. Yeah. Okay. So it's not because they're black. Yeah. It kind of did sound like that when, as I said, I was in Leighton. It just happened to be black, and one was a Greek family.
Okay. Cool.
Makes sense.
All right then. Well, that's our question of the day answered. Let's get into these headlines.
All right, so our first headline, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak defended the decision to grant 100 new North Sea oil and gas licenses. The UK government has also said it will support a carbon capture project in the northeast of Scotland. Campaigners said that extracting more fossil fuels from the North Sea would send a wrecking ball through the UK's climate commitments. But Mr. Sunak said granting the new licenses was entirely consistent with net zero commitments. It comes as the party faces internal divisions over its green policies, such as the review over low-traffic neighbourhoods in England, with some MPs calling for a rethink. Mr. Sunak confirmed support for the Acorn project in St Fergus, Aberdeenshire, on the BBC's Good Morning Scotland programme, then later visited the site. And it's one of 4 carbon capture projects which will share up to £20 billion of funding. Mr. Sunak said that the announcements would support thousands of jobs across the UK. He said, even when we reach net zero in 2050, a quarter of our energy needs will still come from oil and gas, and domestic gas production has about a quarter or a third of the carbon footprint of imported gas. The Prime Minister also said it made absolutely no sense to import energy supplies with 2 to 3 times the carbon footprint of what we have got at home. Second headline. This is a bit... Anyway, let me get straight into it. Basically, a businessman cheated a council out of tens of millions of pounds and went on a spending spree with the cash. This is what an investigation has discovered. So leaked documents reveal how Liam Kavanagh used the Thurrock Council's money to buy luxury goods, including a yacht and a private jet. The council has been made effectively bankrupt after investing £655 million into Mr. Kavanagh's solar farm business. Mr. Kavanagh's lawyers say all the payments were permissible, and they say that they were approved by the company's finance team and their auditor as well. But Thurrock, which is one of a number of councils that have got into financial difficulties since the coalition government gave local authorities more freedom to raise funds and invest in 2011, obviously are disputing that. Woking, Slough, and Croydon have all been forced to stop all non-essential spending after losing public money on risky investments. Obviously, it's not the same thing yet, but I remember when I was working in the council, there was one guy who pretty much got into this whole fraud thing, innit? So obviously this guy, I think it was like my first, I don't know, maybe 6 months working there, yeah. This guy, he was one of the, like, he didn't have a leadership position, but he was like very experienced in it. So he's been in different councils for years. So like basically teaching the new guys, it was him that pretty much like was kind of responsible for that. One day I come to work now, and this guy's missing. Like, he's just not there. Like, oh, what happened to so-and-so? I don't want to mention his name. Come to find out now, maybe a day or so later, we see his face floating around in newspaper articles talking about how he defrauded Ealing Council out of like 50k, another council out of something else, and another council out of something else. This guy was just going from council to council.
He's a legend.
I'm telling you. Because there's so many people here, especially the elderly here, who be paying council tax, and they don't need to. So when they're meant to get their refunds, right, he just directs the refund to himself. That's basically what he was doing. And
obviously, because he gets hot in certain spots, that's how he keeps moving to councils.
Yeah.
That's can't teach that kind of experience, man. I'll be honest with you.
There you go.
What nationality was he?
Black man. Yeah. Caribbean.
I said nationality, you said he's black.
All right, so our last headline. Basically, every major teaching union has now accepted the government's offer of a 6.5% pay rise, and they voted to end all the strikes. So members of the National Education Union, the NASUWT, and the National Association of Head Teachers voted to accept the deal, which was made based on recommendations by the STRB, which is the Independent School Teachers Review Body. Union members have held 8 days of industrial action since February in state schools in England, forcing many schools to close entirely or reduce the number of classes being held. Dr. Mary Boosted and Kevin Courtney, who are both the joint general secretaries of the NEU, they pretty much came out and said members have spoken very clearly and they've done so in great numbers. An electronic ballot of teachers saw 86% vote to accept the offer and end industrial action with a 60% turnout. A ballot of the union support staff members in England saw 85% accept the offer with a turnout of 46%. And for those wondering, the NEU is one of the largest education unions in Europe, and it represents more than 450,000 teachers, lecturers, education support staff, and leaders. The government has said that 6.5% pay award for teachers will be fully funded, with £525 million of additional funding for schools in 2023 to 2024, and a further £900 million in 2024 to 2025. And that's it for the headlines.
Big up the teachers then, man. Got their pay rise. All right, cool. Let's get into what you say in topic of the day.
All right. So today's topic of the day is somewhat related to, actually it's not related to the last headline, but it's just, the only similarity is that it's about schools and education. But it sounds, in fact, I'll allow you lot to tell me if you feel like it sounds far-fetched. But some people actually believe in that British schools are becoming segregated, that actual racial segregation is creeping into British schools. I'm going to get into it further, but does that sound crazy to you guys? Do you see it as something that's possible in certain areas, perhaps? Or is this just one of them stupid conspiracy theories?
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it like that, but I'm guessing, I don't know if it's done on purpose. It'll just be certain demographics in certain areas are going to be bigger than others, isn't it? So depending on where you go to school or not, there's going to be a majority in there. Like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, just depending on the certain areas, you could probably predict what the races will be, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's, I can't say it's done on purpose because they live in the areas that they put us in the areas from Quay, innit? So the schools, you can only go to school in a certain area, innit? Remember they changed it. If you're not in a certain postcode, you can only go to certain schools and all that. So when you got different demographics in different areas that's heavily populated, the schools are going to be heavily populated. That's just, yeah.
But then I guess that kind of speaks to, like, for example, maybe some schools being heavily a particular race compared to others. But within a particular school, do you feel like there can be some racial segregation there?
In the sense of just making the school all one colour?
No, so for example, maybe, I don't know, certain people get taught, like black people get taught a particular thing and white people get taught a particular thing. Or black people use this particular thing at this particular time and white people do.
Yeah, but again, that probably could. I don't know about the being taught different things. That's just like that speaks to like the institutional racism and shit like that or whatever. So I don't know what they're doing. But the kids will probably get treated differently. Like I think that yeah, it probably is happening. I think the black kids in my school probably got treated a bit differently to the white kids in my school. It was because we were at school in Israel, and a lot of the black kids came there from different areas, came out, and it's like we wasn't like, it's like we was almost outsiders almost, if that makes sense. I didn't feel like we was from there, like that community in that, like, it felt like white place. It felt like it was their place, if that makes sense. You know what I'm trying to say? We were just seen as like the ghetto kids.
Did like the teachers contribute to that? Or is that more so just like how it felt, kind of? Not saying the feeling is not real, but just saying like You know what I'm saying?
We complained to the school board about the way about some of the things that was going on. It felt like some of them teachers were racist. Definitely, it felt like they was treating the people of color different than to the whiteys and stuff like that.
Okay. What about you, Brent? What do you think?
Are schools becoming segregated?
Yeah. Or do you feel like, if I was to tell you that some people believe that that's basically where we're going, do you feel like that's a far-fetched thought? Do you feel like this is just some excited people just talking again?
As in all black, all white, or predominantly black, predominantly white? Is that what you're saying?
No, like, as in, so it could be that, but also, like, within a particular school, for example, you're getting differences, you know what I'm saying? People are taught maybe or treated differently based on their race or based on some other identifier.
I've been so tapped out of the education system like for a while, and I wouldn't even know.
Okay. Well, let me inform you guys about something, right? Now, this guy, again, I don't know this guy at all, obviously. He was speaking to a particular newspaper, and he's talking about his experience, right? So, again, he could be one of these gassed up people who just talk for talking's sake and just worried about stupid crap. But
How old is he?
This man is, I'm not too sure, but he's got kids in the school.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's a parent. So basically, he's a father of two, right? And what he's saying is, and in fact, the primary school is in Muswell Hill, so it's North London, right? That his kid attends. And basically, he received a WhatsApp message, right? And he said it was sent by the Inclusion and Anti-Racism group, right? At Coldfield Primary School, right? And this was sent to all Year 4 parents. And basically, what it's saying is, this particular message invited Black and Black heritage children to join a 2-hour online session every Saturday morning. So I'm assuming this guy's white, by the way. But hearing that though,
What Saturday school and extra teaching?
Say that again,
Sorry, it's like Saturday school
Yeah, I guess you can
and
call
it's
it that.
extra teaching,
I guess so, yeah.
and that's a bad thing.
But it's still, I guess, through the school, and it's, you know what I'm saying, and it's still through the school.
That's not a bad thing.
So I guess they can't really take out time from regular, you know what I mean? Like, what is it, 9 to 3:30, Monday to Friday.
Yeah,
But they want to add something in, but it's only for
yeah,
Black and Black heritage children.
yeah. I'm alright with that
Why are you alright with that?
because it's extra learnings, no?
Okay.
And especially if it is that they need that extra help.
Okay. So he's saying the message explained, right, that the aim is to accelerate progress in reading and writing whilst also developing the children's knowledge of Black history and culture.
And the white person's teaching it.
No. I think it's like Black people from this particular group, innit?
Okay, yeah,
So this group is called the Inclusion and Anti-Racism group.
okay.
Yeah. So based on that, and so basically it's a 33 lesson course, which apparently costs the school £400 per child, aged 8 or 9. Right. It was provided by an outside organisation. White children were excluded, regardless of their interest in Black history and culture.
Ah, is that the angle you're coming from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, based on that, what does that sound like to you? Is that okay? I'm not trying to put it in there like, oh, because I'm pretty sure you guys will know my opinion. But like, in terms of like, do you feel like he has a right to believe that this is the beginnings of this type of racial divide within schools?
Oh, so you're assuming this parent's white, yeah?
Yeah. Because he's complaining. He's complaining.
The service that they're offering, is it a positive or negative first, whether it's segregated or not?
What do you mean? In what way? What, in my opinion, or do you mean like...
In your opinion?
I mean, I'm for Black people doing for self. So if this is something that can benefit those Black kids and they can learn more about their Black history and culture that they're not going to get in that school, and also keep up their reading and writing skills, I'm all for it, man. I definitely believe that Black people... If it is one of those situations where they're saying that where Black people are kind of failing, Black kids are failing, or maybe below average, or whatever it may be, right? Then I don't see the problem. To be fair, even if we were excelling, like whatever's necessary that could further push us to succeed and have a strong sense of who we are, right? I'm all for. But obviously, I'm Black, and that's my kind of thing, my angle. But as somebody who's, I guess we're only 3.5% population, right? And this is being done in schools within this majority 80% white country. can we kind of understand where this guy's coming from? Is this the beginning of those things? Especially if, for example, he's not one of them white guys who see it as, these blacks are this and that. If he's one of those so-called empathizers who's like, cool, I believe in Dr. Martin Luther King's, you know what I mean, walking hand in hand stuff, right? If he's one of those type of guys, do you feel like he has a right to feel like, why are these people going backwards? Shouldn't we be pushing things where it's like...
Pushing inclusion.
Yeah.
Especially if it's the sessions that are being held teaching Black history. Why not include anyone who wants to know about Black history?
So then maybe it is segregation. And so it's basically, are you of the mindset that it's wrong? Because if there was someone that wasn't black, but they wanna get extra education, they wanna whatever, and it's for all their purposes, they wanna get involved, but they're not allowed to. That's wrong, basically. Do you believe that?
Personally, it's a tricky one, right? And where I'm going to take this afterwards, it will make sense why I say that. But I feel like if you've got your own private school, I feel like you should be able to do whatever the hell you want to do, right? But if we're kind of using the funds of the taxpayers and everything, right, and we live in the UK and this, that, and the third, then it's kind of hard to argue that you give this particular group this and the others, you leave them out completely. But at the same time, I also believe if you can afford to, you should somewhat prioritize uplifting a group who is struggling or maybe need to, or something that could help race relations if that's something that you people care about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's not something where I would say, you know what, it's a bad thing. But again, it might be because I'm black though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for inclusion and diversity and that.
Yeah.
And it's like anybody that tried to sign up for that course would be interested in it, if that makes sense. It'll come from a place that if you don't want to, if you got racism in your heart, you don't give a shit about all that. You're not even going to try and sign up in it. So it's like, it's like what you're saying. I think it should be open. I think it should be open to everybody because the way you present it, like you're saying, it's for the black kids and it's about black history and extra curriculum, boom, 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 and it's for them. But to say like, oh, you're not allowed, I think that creates more problems than good. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, because nobody that don't want to be there ain't gonna be there. It's on a Saturday and stuff like that. So ain't no white people or whatever that's gonna be there. That they're not gonna be forced to be there. It's gonna be because, you know what I'm trying to say? And then it's not coming. That's not coming from a bad place or from a negative place. So then it is just segregating people in it. Like you can have that course there and let it be known what it's for, but just in the name of diversity, just progression and whatnot. Everybody should be allowed to go there. I think.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Especially if it's a Zoom.
Like,
What resources are you using, man?
But what if it's not a Zoom? What if you come in and the teacher's there from this particular organisation though?
yeah, but even then, what do you get out of it? Because again, I don't think you're going to be forcing white people to go there or people from other races to go there. Anybody that's going to go there, they want to be there, innit? And it's going there in the name of education, in the name of learning, in the name of bettering yourself. And this is what we want, innit? So why segregate? If there's people like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Do you believe that certain people should have a right to teach certain ideas that maybe the majority doesn't agree with?
That's a sticky soap because then that's just because them ideas could be that suits you, but then once you give that person that do that, then it opens up to everybody's ideas. You know what I'm trying to say? And then you can't be moaning about people that are teaching things that you don't agree with. You know what I'm trying to say? That you're not allowed to do that. That you wouldn't be allowed to do that once you jump on board and say yeah, boom, 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 boom. Because it's just coming from a selfish attitude. In fairness, it's like if you're allowed to teach whatever yours is, they should be allowed to teach their stuff because there's people going to be looking at your thing like it's nonsense. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So once you open up that door, then again, in the name of fairness and equality, then that means everybody should be allowed to teach their things. But then you're going to get people teaching stuff that you don't agree with, and then you're going to be in uproar about it. So then, no, basically.
Okay. Well, basically, based on this article and based on what, I'm not too sure if it's based on what this particular parent thinks, but he basically thinks this is the whole critical race theory thing that's happening in America, right? When I say happening in America, obviously it's been there since the 70s in terms of the idea and the theory behind it. But in terms of actively going into schools and being taught in universities and stuff, it's much more prevalent now than ever before, right? And I remember, what's her name? Kemi Badenoch.
Yeah.
And then she kind of denied it, innit?
Yeah.
Basically said it was a bunch of nonsense anyway. But for those who don't know, critical race theory is basically the idea that racism is systemic in national institutions, right? In all areas of life. And basically, everything's put in place to maintain white supremacy, to maintain white people being at the top of basically the totem pole, right? Throughout society. Now, obviously, America is different to the UK. We know this, right? But we also know there's loads of similarities. But that as an idea, they're even white people, yes, they probably are Democrats, right? But they're white people who somewhat agree with this and see it. Because white privilege is all over the place. It doesn't look like it's going anywhere. And this idea supports that, right? And reinforces it. So if it's a thing where we can kind of teach this particular idea in schools to educate black people so they're aware of what they're up against, but also inform white people so that those that care, those that empathize and want real unity can kind of maybe do something about it also. Is that a bad thing, number one? But number two, if we bring that to the UK, as much as it's kind of established as something that's not a fact, but something that is that enough people believe to be true, even though it's kind of denied in this country, if the government is basically saying we're allowing this particular group to teach things directed at black people because for whatever reason this is necessary, why would that ever be a bad thing? And number two, why does that kind of set a precedent that anyone can kind of do whatever they want? Isn't that different to somebody just having a crazy idea? Because some of these crazy ideas, right, that certain fringe groups have, there's no lecturers teaching this. Like, they're in hiding, you know what I'm saying? But critical race theory is bona fide, real lecturers are teaching this. People are adopting it. It's in schools, you know what I'm saying? It may not be commonplace in the UK, but definitely in the US, right? Well, at least it's getting there anyway. Is that something that we should kind of be like, nah, just kind of falls into the area of, you know what, anyone can do anything? Or is it something that we should adopt?
All right, you asked bare questions there.
So I just kept going.
You want to say hello to this young man?
Yes, of course.
We've got a special guest in the building.
What's happening? What's happening?
You need to get involved in conversation, young man. You can't just sit there.
Yeah.
Put it on a bit. All right, cool.
We should have told the people that we got a guest for you guys later, right? Well, 2 guests, right?
Well, one today, yeah.
Oh, one.
So he's not going to be here today, so it's just me. Yeah,
Okay,
Raph.
cool. So we're going to get into the interview later. But you know what? Yeah, can you do like a quick introduction of who you are, please?
Cool. So Raph, co-founder of a brand called Temple. What we do is we create personal care and grooming products for men of color. So what you would see if you go to the website now is a range of skincare products. But the plan is to, like, over time, introduce other things.
Okay.
To essentially sort of help men look after themselves.
Okay. Well, we're definitely going to get into that further. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, definitely feel free to jump into the conversation.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so where was we? Yeah, you asked bare questions. Let's start again. So, do you think they should bring teaching critical race theory over here?
Yeah.
Britain ain't gonna like that, are they? But why not though?
That's what I'm saying. Like, because my thing is, regardless of whether you think it's real or not, right?
But it is real though, isn't it?
No, but some people deny it. Like, again, we had Kemi Badenoch, who's a black person. We can't say she's less. It's not fair for us to say she's less black, but she's a black person. Right?
It is. It's not fair, but I mean, just because you have black skin, it doesn't mean your hair or your care about the advancement of black people. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
100%.
use it as a tool. So anybody that's sitting next to the Tories like that, and they just use you just there when it's black issues, you go and you stand up and you champion them and you defend them and you say all this nonsense. So you can't just sit here and say, oh, because Kemi Badenoch, like, what?
The reason why I say that is, though, like, it's because, as we know, black people, like, bare of us have different experiences, right? Mm-hmm. And for her, who's made it to how high she is in the government, right? It's easy for her to maybe say to people, yes, I had struggles, but I don't think race contributed to me failing in life. Because look at me, I've not failed. You know what I'm saying? So in her mind, she'll be thinking, how has white supremacy done this? You know what I'm saying? So for her, isn't it kind of harsh to what would you say to the people? You say it's harsh to kind of say she's not really black though, Because at the end of the day, all of us have different experiences.
No, she is black. She's clearly a black woman, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know what I'm trying to say? That, but then when you speak to the I don't know, say that like my typical experience as a black man, my black experience and where I'm growing up and the way I've lived, I highly doubt she's lived like that. You know what I'm trying to say? So just being black, okay, cool. There's commonality there, but I don't think you're gonna represent me in those places because you don't even relate.
Yeah.
You can't relate. We came from different places. Like where you are probably shows that you even came from a different starting point. The things that you would have to do to get to where you are is a totally different experience and different opportunities, different things to what I would have had in it. So it's not even just about being black. Like you just can't. You can't relate to me anyway. You know what I'm trying to say? Because you can't relate to me because my experience is what you've been through. You're not gonna go. You're not a representation of me. You know what I'm trying to say? Because again, your mindset's different. When you're talking about the things that you're talking to, I can't relate to. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's not just about being black. Like you're not for us. You're not for us anyway. Yeah. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, and because if she was, she would have wanted to be some of the people. Probably wouldn't went over to Labour. Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so, yeah. Like I said, just being black's not enough. You get me?
But in terms of like, let me bring it to you, Raph. Yeah. Do you feel like it's wrong to teach certain things in schools to only a particular demographic? That's basically where this started from. I'm not too sure if you heard the backstory. Let me quickly just tell you some of the backstory. Yeah. And basically, this came from a parent in school who's got kids in the school in North London, right? He received a WhatsApp message basically saying it was sent by an inclusion and anti-racism group at his child's primary school. And they basically said they're inviting all black and black heritage children to join a 2-hour online session every Saturday morning, right? And the aim is to accelerate progress in reading and writing whilst also developing the children's knowledge of black history and culture. White children were excluded.
Okay. Do I think it's a bad thing? No.
Okay.
But I think the UK is a funny place where as soon as you sort of explain that situation, immediately I was like, okay, cool. If white people get hold of this, it's gonna be flames. I don't. It's weird to me. It's weird to me when we try to do something for ourselves. You clearly mentioned, okay, cool, this is for them to improve their reading and writing, to understand their history. Why that then triggers another group of people to somehow feel like, oh, you're excluding us, the rest of it. When there are other situations where we're clearly being excluded, you have no issue with that. So you're able to recognize exclusion. It's just, it's only an issue when it feels like you're the one being excluded. Yeah, it's a funny topic. Even one where we've kind of like, when you read under like so we've recently started doing like Facebook advertisements for the brand, and even you read under the comments there, and it's just interesting to see how some people sort of respond to that as well.
If that message said, that same message went out, but it said we're gonna give kids extra schooling curriculums to help with their reading and to help with their writing and to help with their knowledge of the empire and how great it was and money management and this, but it's only to the white kids.
Yeah.
How would you feel? How would it be received? Would it be received in the same way? Would you say, yeah, that's fine? Because would you be saying that, or would you be chatting shit?
No, I'd still be feeling. I'd be feeling away like, oh, okay, cool. That's a bit strange. But I think when the broader context of it is there are disadvantages towards like our race. So if there is anything that's gonna, dare say, sort of like level the playing field, then why not? Yeah,
but no, definitely 100%. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. But then a lot of the way these, I'm guessing this mixed communities, isn't it? So if that parent feels like my child needs help with their writing and their reading, and I would also want to grow up in a society where there's less segregation and whatnot. You get me? Knowledge is power. I would also want them to have an idea of black history and stuff like that. Like, why can't I send? Like, I would want my white kid to come there too, but I'm not allowed. Is that because I like the point I made? I don't think there's not gonna. there's not going to be no white people or other races lining up to be there that don't want to be there. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like they would want to be there. They would be in a name. They would want to learn. They would want to know the rest of the test. So what do you get out of excluding that? Because if you teaching, ain't it just helping? If that makes sense for a better society moving forward. Even so, I get we need stuff for ourselves, definitely. But again, I don't think there's going to be people in that room that's going to be forced to be there. Anybody in there is going to be a ally, so to speak. So what then?
I can understand from that angle. Yeah.
Do you see it? Is it more understandable? Yeah, hearing that the school is paying for this. So this is not like the parents, like the black parents. This is the school is funding this.
So it's an initiative. So that's like a government initiative then?
Yeah.
What was the question? What?
So do you feel like more understanding of this white parents?
Of his gripes, basically.
Yeah.
If it's this,
because they're paying £400 per child for these 33 lessons.
I mean, again, he's gonna feel how he feels anyway, no matter who's paying for it. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and it's either coming from a genuine place. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and it's something that he would want to be a part of, and that's why he feels disgruntled that his kids can't take part in it because he feels in the name of equality we should all be able to do this, or he's just racist, like kind of thing, and he's thinking like, bro, why are these black people getting any special treatment? Like, fuck all of this. So it doesn't matter who was paying for it or whatever was going on. Either way, regardless of what side of the fence he stood on, he's gonna feel how he feels. I don't see what would change it.
Yeah. Another question, yeah. Do you guys feel, again, I'm not privy to white people's conversations about other stuff in it or about anything, but do you feel like nobody complains about, let's just say, Jewish schools? Why is it now that, okay, with black people, for example, is a complaint? Because obviously in Jewish schools, yes, they're probably private or whatever, they get taught whatever they want to get taught. White people are not going out of their way saying, what are they teaching over there? Let's make sure it's inclusive and whatever they're teaching, I'm privy to. Or do you feel like this is different?
Yeah, you're right. It's because it's black people, bro, man. It's like, you know what I'm trying to say? It's just, I don't even know what to say. Like, it's just always, I don't know, man, because that's just the way it is, isn't it? I'll be real with you, because you're right. They wouldn't. Is it true that they stopped all like the Islamic schools and stuff like that?
I'm not too sure about that,
And all the faith-based schools and like Christian, Catholic and stuff like that.
Because that was what I was thinking. I was thinking that it's a bit different because you have Catholic schools. Like I wouldn't imagine people from Muslim backgrounds complaining about like Catholic schools. Yeah, so that's how I kind of like looked at it. Like, okay, cool. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Jews, it's not just it's a race and a religion. So I wouldn't kind of like put it in the same bag.
But a lot of these Jewish schools, again, I do not have the stats here, the facts at all.
Be careful then.
But I'm assuming that in these Jewish schools in the UK, there are no black Jews in there. I'm assuming. So I'm assuming that obviously, yes, you're right. It's the religion that keeps them bound or whatever, but it's also the whole race thing as well. So with the black thing being a race and the Jewish thing, let's just say it's a race, this, that, and the third, like that would be the parallel where nobody's complaining that over there, because again in Islamic schools you'll get people of different cultures, Bangladesh, Nigerian, this, that, and the third, right? It's different.
Sorry,
Catholic schools.
But there's not. If there was a black school, yeah. Because remember, the whole reason why he got a voice to even say anything is because of the inclusion. It's mixed, isn't it? If there was a black school, would that parent probably wouldn't have his nose in that business about what they're teaching over there because he's not involved in it. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's
so
true.
If it was a black school, just what he's not teaching over there, he's not teaching. The only people that are gonna get involved with and say that kind of stuff are people that are overtly racist and stuff like that, or their prejudice rises to the forefront. You get what I mean? Like, that's what the difference is. It's not segregated. That's probably why. If there was a black school, they wouldn't even have a like a leg to stand on to say anything about it, because whatever we're teaching over here and we're doing over here, innit, is what we're doing. So that's what. So if there was that, then there wouldn't be a problem. So maybe that's why you don't hear nothing about the Jewish schools, because it is what it is, isn't it? You don't mixing yourself up in Jewish business. You don't know what they're.
That's
Do
true.
you get what I'm trying to say?
Very true.
So maybe your answer would be have black schools, but then you're going into that wouldn't be segregation, though, would it?
Separation.
Separation. Is that wrong? Is there anything wrong with that?
I was just about to ask you, because if now, for example, we then said, you know what, fine, yeah, let's just do black schools so we can actually private, and we can teach whatever we teach, and just make sure it's in line with the curriculum, the government's requirements. Do you feel there will be outrage from people outside the black community?
Of course, not on the whole, but there'll be supporters too, though, because it's life, isn't it?
I'm trying to think of like the exact. I can't remember what it is. HCPUs or something like that in America. Something like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not close enough to it to know what the sentiment is towards those universities, but
they got made out of necessity, if that makes sense. When segregations, they wasn't letting black kids go to schools, innit? So they had to go. They had to build their places where they could, where they can learn. You get me? That's kind of different. Like
Sorry, go on.
No, go on.
I was just saying, but I could easily come out and say, well, critical race theory teaches me that no matter what, I'm going to struggle to get to a certain place in life. So out of necessity, let's teach our own so that we can then go on to build our own businesses, our own this, our own that, so that we can actually be whatever, we aspire to be. Because outside of that, we're struggling. So I could say that's a necessity as well.
Yeah, but those HSBCUs, whatever they're called, historically, like you were saying, where they came from, these schools have got history in it. So they've been around now, and people can chat all the shit they want. Anybody gets it and understands, innit? In here now in England, to wake up today in 2023 and say, yeah, I'm making an all black school, that's gonna have different feelings towards it than that, innit?
It would.
Yeah, but do you think it's necessary then?
I think you can make an argument that it's necessary, because it just, I guess it depends on your passions and how serious you take the threat against your race, if you believe there is one, right? How serious you take it. Because at the end of the day, right, and I'll get into something quickly, with Jewish schools, right, they make sure they teach the Talmud and everything, right? Stuff that is really important to their faith at this time, the third. Then after, when they leave at 16, they then go on to advanced, religious studies, right? This is important to them. And I remember I was listening to an interview from, I think it's a head teacher, and he was saying, we've been around for thousands of years as Jews. And the reason why we've been around for thousands of years, right, gone through the hardships, and we're still here, is because we have such an emphasis on history, on our history, and making sure it's passed on from generation to generation. That necessity there, them taking that so serious, right, is a reason for them to have their schools, and the reason why it still exists.
Yeah, but it's easier because it's wrapped up in a religion. Judaism is a religion. You know what I'm trying to say? That people keep talking like it's a race, but obviously you argue. I don't know. Don't kill me. There's black Jews and things like. You know what I'm trying to say? That so there it's different with black people. We're not talking about a religion. You know what I'm trying to say? That, and we're just treating like black people are all the same, and they're not. There's religions from all over the place. So there's Islamic black people. There's Christian black people, Catholic black people. So then, how do you pick what? You know what I'm trying to say? Because they've got the one religion, even though people conflating it and calling them a race or whatever, because they've got the one religion, they're all on code, innit? You know what I'm trying to say? So when you can't do the same with black people and say black people, because then we're not even talking about nationalities and all that. Like, it's from all across the world, it's all diverse. We're not even all on the same page. Don't have all the same outlooks or nothing like that. We're just all black, bro. You know what I'm trying to say? So I don't know how you can compare it, because what are you going to teach? What are you going to teach them? Because you couldn't do that if the leader of the school was Muslim and black and you can't come trying to push Islam on, man. My mum's Christian. She's going to come and say, yo, what are you not doing? You get what I'm trying to say? Like, where's Jesus in them, man? You feel me? Like, so how do you do it? It's not the same. It's easy to, it's hard to compare them.
The reason why I see it as the same, is because, again, I've never been to a Jewish school, but I don't believe, right, that when they're teaching the Holocaust, right, that necessarily includes black Jews, because the black Jews, I don't think, were present in Nazi Germany, right? But I also don't think they're necessarily, again, I could be wrong, emphasizing the history of black Jews in Africa, in Ethiopia, because that's not their reality. Like, as European Jews, as Hasidic Jews and Orthodox Jews, they're different to the black Jews. Yes, they all say they're Jews or whatever, but there's a different history, you know what I'm saying? And what they're emphasizing is a commonality within their race as European Jews or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's the race element that I think is pushed more, obviously alongside, because I guess they believe it's intrinsically linked anyway, right? But the race element is there at the forefront, has to be, because otherwise you'll see black Jews there too. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's necessarily the case.
Well, the race is there, but it's tied in with the religion. But again, it's because with black people, there's all different religions.
Mm-hmm.
What line do you talk? Like, we're not going to be in unison. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Because how? Like, how do you do it?
But in the same way, I guess you wouldn't necessarily teach from a religion thing. You'd teach and emphasize the history, the culture. You know what I'm saying? And not necessarily the religion. Or even if you're teaching a religion, you teach about all the different religions that black people are part of. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to focus on the things that are, the commonalities. That's the only way you do it.
Look, this is read out what Stacey said.
Okay. So Stacey said, one of my professors at Howard, Dr. Carr, pick up Dr. Carr, was a big part.
Oh, you know him?
Yeah. Was a big part of starting them. Black schools in Philly that prioritized black curriculum. He had fifth graders come to our college class debating text theories from Malcolm X. The most amazing thing I've ever witnessed. She's still writing. So she's got more to say. But yeah. I want to kind of take it to somewhere else before we wrap up, yeah? And I think we may have a topic of the day on this particular idea. But basically, a lot of Jewish schools, faith-based schools anyway, are basically kind of worried, and they feel like the government is kind of overstepping their boundaries, and further down the line will kind of threaten the existence of these faith-based schools, right? This particular thing I was watching was on YouTube. I can't remember the news platform, but anyway, they interviewed this Jewish school in London, and basically this new proposal by the government is that basically they want every kid who is homeschooled to register as somebody who's homeschooled, right? And the reason that is, from the government standpoint, is to make sure that all of these kids who are registered as homeschooled meet the government's requirement. You know what I'm saying? Certain levels, and these and they have to make sure it's suitable. So again, this is where the issue. This is where there's an issue, because it's like the Jewish schools, for example, in this particular interview, they're saying who defines what is suitable. You know what I'm saying? And this is basically the criteria. They have to make sure that they've got the right level of numeracy, literacy, and skills for life in the wider community, right? So this particular school in North London, I think it's called Hamilton, right? They failed in the area of skills for life because they didn't want to teach, they didn't pay enough attention to respecting sexual orientation and gender, right? The government say it's because it limits their preparation for life in modern Britain, right? What they do typically in this school is they learn the Talmud, right? And then this is the first thing they do every single day. Then they go into like the core subjects like maths and sports or whatever. But sex education, sexual diversity, it's just not in the school. They don't talk about that at all. You know what I'm saying? And then after that, when they leave at 16 years old, they go on to pursue advanced religious studies. And then from there, they're all taught to get careers, typically in commerce, right? So there's a plan and structure. And they're basically saying the government, with this legislation, these new proposals, this will pretty much, with time, infringe on what they're doing. Firstly, do you feel like that's a big step, right? Because all they really want to do is just get the names of people who are being homeschooled. Or do you feel like there's some legitimacy to what they're saying?
Government's within their rights to do all that. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, the education is set for a whole, innit? So if they feel like you don't meet the standards, then... Because obviously all they want to do is produce the workforce of the future and stuff like that, innit? And they're allowed to set their own standards, innit? So they're saying if you're not meeting the standards that we're going to set, how can you just be allowed to have the same... that means your grades and stuff will be weighted, and like, because it's different to what the masses, innit? Is things like, I think they should be allowed to say that, because at the end of the day, it's their country, innit? It's the government. They're allowed to set the standards that they want for themselves. So if you are trying to do your own thing, but you fall short, then they should be allowed to point out and say, well, boy, if you need to be able to get up to standard and all that kind of stuff, all that diversity, the way the world's moving forward, you need to be ready. You can't just come outside at 16 and be like, You get what I'm trying to say? That don't make sense. So it doesn't serve their purpose. So I think they're within their rights to say that. Obviously, the school's going to feel how they're going to feel because obviously that's their traditions. That's what they've been doing, and obviously it's the religion what it's steeped in and that. But I don't think it's a step too far. I think it makes sense. Like you are saying, you are homeschooling kids. All right, cool. You are homeschooling kids, but then homeschooling and then what? Like to what standard? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, then you're gonna come out into you got schooling at home, and you're gonna bring your fuckery from home out into the world, into the wider society, and we're just supposed to accept it and not know what standard or what level it's at. I hear them. I'm with them.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, we could turn that into a topic another day. But yeah, man, I think that's it for today's topic.
All right, then let's get into more headlines. Yes.
All right. So our next headline, trigger warning here, some sad news. Do you guys know Angus Cloud? He basically played something called Fez in Euphoria.
From Euphoria.
Yeah, I've never watched it, man.
It's a good show actually. A bit wild, but
yeah, unfortunately, he's passed away, man, at the young age of 25.
I saw that, man. Yeah. Sad news, man.
Cloud, who played drug dealer Fez O'Neill on the teen drama, died on Monday at his family home in Oakland, California. A statement was put out by Cloud's family, and it says, "It is with the heaviest heart that we have to say goodbye to an incredible human being. The only comfort we have is knowing Angus is now reunited with his dad, who was his best friend. We hope that his passing can be a reminder to others that they're not alone and should not fight this on their own in silence." So Cloud, Cloud buried his father last week, right, according to his family, and was in a battle with mental health. But the cause of death has not been given. Next headline, environmental campaigners have called on the government to learn from its own successes after official figures showed the use of single-use supermarket plastic bags had fallen by 98% since retailers in England began charging for them in 2015. So annual distribution of plastic carrier bags by 7 leading grocery chains plummeted from 7.6 billion in 2014 to 133 million last year. This was put out by DEFRA, the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. Rebecca Powell, who's the Minister for Environmental Quality and Resilience, said that the policy had helped to stop billions of single-use carrier bags littering our neighbourhoods or heading to landfills. The government claimed the average person in England now bought just 2 single carrier bags a year from major retailers. How does that sound right to you? How many carrier bags would you say you buy a year?
Buy?
Yeah.
I'm from a community. I don't pay for bags. It's foolishness. When boss man looks at me, do you want a bag? Yes. He gives it to me. I hate going places where I got to pay for them dumbass bags, man. It's annoying. Obviously, the supermarkets, you can't get out of it. But then again, you can. There's be teeth in them, allegedly.
You can't get out of it in supermarkets? Of course you can.
Yeah, you can. Go on, how?
Are you talking about like Tesco and Sainsbury's?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You just take them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have never paid for bag.
Allegedly.
No, I've never paid for bag.
Okay. Nice. All right. Yeah, no.
That's also alleged.
Can you imagine I wake up one morning, you telling me I know you need to pay 5p. I need to pay 10p. I need to pay 15p.
Some of them are 30.
That's
20p, you know.
No, but them 30p ones are good bags.
Nah.
They're strong, man. Waitrose got some good ones. I'm going to lie to you.
Yeah, man. Because of this, it's dropped, man. So yeah, for those who don't know, a 5p charge for carrier bags was introduced in English supermarkets in 2015. In 2021, the charge was increased to 10p and it extended to all businesses. Since then, the number of plastic bags used across all retailers had fallen 35%. So that's from 627 million in 2019-2020 to 406 million in 2022 to 2023. And the last headline here, oh man, this is crazy. But anyway, a zoo in China, right? And it's linked to yesterday's Done At It, by the way. So in some weird way. And it will make sense when I read it. But basically, a zoo in China has denied suggestions from some of its that some of its bears might actually be people in costumes. They've had to come out and do this, you know, after photos of the animals standing like humans circulated online. So Hangzhou Zoo said on social media that the sun that the sun bears from Malaysia are smaller than other bears and they look different, but insisted that they are actually the real thing. An employee who answered the phone at the zoo declined to talk about the bears, but said visits were being arranged on Monday for reporters to actually come in and see them. Internet users questioned whether the zoo's bears were genuine after photos circulated showing one standing upright on slender hind legs. Chinese newspaper.
You should have got a link, man. I want to see these bears,
Yeah,
man.
I'm Googling it now. Ridiculous.
So the Chinese newspaper, Hangzhou Daily, they came out and said, because of the way they stand, some people online question whether there are humans in the skies. Other Chinese zoos have been accused of trying to pass off dogs with fur. Wow, this is crazy. So basically, other Chinese zoos have been accused of trying to pass off dogs with their fur dyed and cut, right, to look like wolves or African cats, while a zoo in Egypt previously denied it had painted donkeys to look like zebras. Can you imagine?
I could actually. I actually could, to be fair.
It's great we can do this all year long.
What's that?
What's going on, bro?
I'm trying to see
Get
the
2
video,
for 1
but it
cinema
has an
tickets
ad.
every Tuesday or Wednesday.
What's the adverts? Oh, here we go. Oh, shit. No, but, I mean,
It's probably that.
he has got a manly stance, though, innit?
That looks real.
That looks like a real bear to me. Ain't it? Routed. What?
You
The
sure,
creases in the back.
That could be a dunny in a suit, though.
Nah, the throat. The throat.
They do look weird, though.
But you know the dog from yesterday?
Yeah.
He looked kind of real.
Yeah, to be fair, it looked, yeah. I suppose it did, yeah.
But yes, anyway, that's the end of the headlines. It's time to pay them bills.
And then now we're going to get into asking for a friend. No, People's Journal.
People's Journal.
People's...
All right, people. Welcome to the People's Journal. I give you the news from an economics point of view. I haven't got much to talk about today. Just two things, pretty much. There's been a major shake-up, man, in the way that alcohol is going to be taxed. And basically, from today, it's looking like certain drinks are going to be more expensive, basically. The Treasury is saying that there's going to be some new common sense principles, right, that they're trying to implement, and basically saying that taxes being levied according to the drink's strength. That's the new thing that they want to kind of thingy. So duties will increase overall, with most wines and spirits seeing rises, but there will be a fall on lower alcohol drinks, and mostly, like sparkling wine and all that type of stuff.
Foolishness.
Yeah, so stuff like pints and all that type of stuff, that's pretty much going to be the same. But yeah, what they're saying is there's going to be an additional measure designed to support pubs as well. That's what they're saying. But yeah, like I was saying, the more stronger drinks, it's just going to be like pretty much more expensive, man.
So I got to pay more for my Ray and Nephew now?
Potentially, yes.
You hate to see it.
Yes. Another thing is, new figures come out suggesting that food price inflation has slowed to its lowest level since this year, man. The price of oils, fish, breakfast cereals, all that type of stuff has gone down. You know what I'm saying? So according to the BLXCK, which is the British Retail Consortium, they're saying that food inflation slowed in July to 13.4% from 14.6% in June. Overall, shop prices are still 7.6% higher than it was in July this time last year. But obviously, where we are now is different. And yeah, it is slowing down to its lowest level since. And to be fair, that's pretty much all I have for People's Journey, Not much today at all.
All right, then let's get into asking for a friend.
Gonna do the interview.
We're going to do the interview first.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into our interview segment. Sorry, people.
All right. So, like we told you people, man, we've got a very important guest today. You're changing people's lives, man. You're changing people's lives.
Everybody's there saying he's a handsome guy and his skin shining.
You know what I'm saying?
Got a word on the road, yeah?
But apparently,
So, In fact, yeah, Raph, let me allow you to introduce yourself again for those people who just, turned up.
Cool. So I'm Raphael, co-founder of a brand called Temple. What we do is we create personal care and grooming products with the needs and concerns of men of color in mind. If you go to the website, what you'll see now is skincare products. You'll see a cleanser, a toner, and a moisturizer that you can buy individually or as a set to start your routine. But the long-term vision is to essentially create different products to help men look after themselves.
Okay. I remember when I first came across you guys, your spelling was different, innit? It was Temple, right?
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Why the change?
So it was a really super conscious decision. I think the way we originally came out with the brand, it felt very, it felt too artistic. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. It felt like too far from long term where I felt like the brand needed to go. And what I mean by that is like, if we wanted to have a situation where we did a campaign with, say, AJ or Stormzy or whoever else it may be, I kind of felt like, just looking forward, I felt like they would have to morph into our aesthetic as opposed to it just being that they can just present themselves how they present themselves. And I've seen it happen with some of these people when they go and do a shoot with like GQ or Vogue or anything else. And I look at it and I'm like, does this represent who he is on an everyday basis? And I didn't want that to be the case with Temple. I wanted it to be a thing of whether you come from sports, music, fashion, entertainment, wherever it is, that if we do like a collaboration, you can literally just be who you are and it still looks and feels like it's a natural, authentic fit. So yeah, that was part of it. And then we also just wanted something to be a bit more punchy. Hence why we went in that route.
Is there a meaning behind the name, Temple?
Yeah, so there's loads of meanings. I think the first one is your body's your temple. So that's why we went with that route. But I think even just like what you think about when you hear the word temple, like you think of a place that you would approach with respect or reverence. When you there's also like a mental element to it as well. And when you think about like your mind, or you point to your mind, you point to your temple. So all of those things came together to be like, this is the perfect name for the brand, considering where we want to take it.
All right, cool.
And there's two of you, innit?
Yeah, there's two of us. Yeah. There's me, and then there's Adam.
Okay. So like, who was it? Like a joint effort in terms of coming up with this idea? Like what made you say, you know what, we need something? Because your slogan's for the mandem, innit?
Self-care for the mandem.
Yeah. Okay. So what made you guys feel like we should do this?
So funny and interesting story. So me and Adam have known each other since college. We went to graphics design together. He went down the path of actually becoming a designer. I went more down the path of like working in startups or like more commercial roles and that sort of thing. But I've always kind of like started different businesses along the way. So in 2020, Adam reached out randomly and he was just like, oh, I'm working on this project. And it just so happened that I was working on what today is known as Temple. He was working on something more of like a hair care brand. So then when he reached out to me and he was like, oh, I want to get your thoughts and advice on what I'm trying to build and the audience I'm trying to cater it to. I was like, oh, that's crazy because I'm working on something similar, but I'm taking the approach of skincare. So then we just got to talking, and then it was like, okay, cool. I have this skill set, you have that skill set. If we put this together, I think we can build something really important. And that's pretty much like how we came about actually starting it in like the summer of 2020. But the background to it is years and years ago, I used to work like in a retail store, and what they used to make us do is you had to be clean shaven in the store. Yeah, you had to be clean shaven. So if you came with any kind of stubble or whatever, they'd literally give you shaving foam and a stick and tell you to go to the bathroom and take it off. At this point, I wasn't aware of the fact that if you use like a shaving stick on coarse hair, you'd get ingrown hairs, razor bumps, all of that sort of thing. So I took the foam, took the stick, went to the bathroom, cleaned off my face, and within a few days, I had like ingrown hairs, and like it was just mad. And insecurities kick in. You're now self-conscious about what's going on. So I went into the your normal high street retail stores and said, this was going on my face. Two things happened. One, they look at your face and they're like, oh, I don't really know what's going on with you. Like, don't know what to recommend. And then even if you try to just look through the products yourself, nothing really jumps out to make it clear that it can help you with what you're experiencing. So at that point, it was for me, and I naturally just kind of like, if I spot that there's a gap somewhere, I'll look for, is there anyone sort of like solving this issue? And this was years ago, and at the time, when I went around looking for a solution and then did a Google search, I didn't find anyone who looked like me on anything I searched. So for me, that was like, oh, okay, like this is strange. So I just kind of like kept it in the back pocket of, one day I'm gonna try to like address this problem, this situation. Because I also knew that the market wasn't ready. I knew if I tried to do anything then, it just wouldn't work. Like, whereas today, more men of color are more open to skincare, looking after themselves, personal grooming, all those different things. So yeah, so when 2020 came around, and I felt like I just want to build something new, work on my own thing, and Adam, you know, around the same time sort of just reached out and was like, oh, I'm working on this thing. It just felt like perfect timing. And then fast forward, here we are now.
So what's the slogan?
Self-care for the mandem.
For the mandem, yeah. So what's that mean? Like just all black, all men, black men, people of color. Like...
I think first and foremost, we obviously created it to meet the needs of black men. Me and Adam are both black, so it was like, okay, cool. First and foremost, we're gonna build this for ourselves. But I think the more we delved into it, and we realized that like the same kind of issues and challenges that we face, i.e. hyperpigmentation, whereas like you get darker patches on your face or ingrown hairs, like it is broader than just black people. And I think the thing to make a point on as well is we've created these products with our needs and concerns in mind, but it doesn't mean that Caucasian people can't use the products. It doesn't mean our white counterparts can't use the products. For us, we were just looking at the space and we were like, okay, there's clearly a degree of exclusion where your products have been created or they've been formulated in a way where if we use it, we're going to get a reaction. It's not going to work for us. Whereas we're saying, okay, cool, we're going to create with us in mind, knowing it can still work for the broader group of people. And I think with the self-care for the mandem, I think, yeah, it's easy considering where we come from, our culture, we instantly know what that means. But when you look at society more broadly, you start to see it is like permeating outside of just ourselves. So for us, it was more trying to connect with the culture as opposed to just trying to connect with a race.
Yeah.
So, makes sense.
I hear that. So you're saying recently, or is it how recently has it been?
Actually, Raphael will be able to tell us.
Caesar on Dragons then.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you want to...
Well done for that first.
Yeah, well done. You secured your investment.
Funny story that I can tell you off camera. But yeah.
Right, but tell us about that whole experience though. How did you get on it and just happen?
I think like a year into us launching, so they reached out to us and were like, oh, like we've seen your brand on Instagram. We feel like you guys would be great for the show. We'd love for you to come on, yada, 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 etc. On that occasion, I didn't want to do it on that occasion. I just felt like we were too early. I felt like I've watched it a few times. Like I don't want this to be a thing of we're just gonna go on TV and it's a TV moment. Like maybe we'll get scolded and then we end up looking stupid. I was just like, no, I'm not on it. So then we left it, but then they circled back again the following year and they were like, hey, look, we've seen you guys have done more stuff. We've seen that the business is a little bit bigger now. Like we really think you'd be good for the show. So I just thought, okay, cool. Second time around, like, I do feel like we're in a better position. We were still really early, but I sort of just spoke to Adam and I said, look, let's roll the dice. Like, if we get an investment, great. If we don't, it's fine. At least we'll get publicity out of it. We'll make more people aware of what we're doing. So that's how we ended up on the show. And the actually doing it itself, it's funny because a lot of like obviously TV is TV, but like a lot of what you see on the screen isn't actually what the reality is when you're there. So like just stuff that you think is real isn't real. So like the elevator, it's not an elevator. It's literally like some wooden doors with rope that gets pulled and then that opens up and then you walk through it.
So you have to actually like go up the stairs.
Nah. There's no stairs. Everything's one level. Yeah, you're literally just navigating around like it's just you're in a studio and you're just like navigating through all of these things. Okay. And then like the background behind the dragons isn't a background. Like it's just you're literally you're in a room. Wow. But for us, it was a cool experience. Like I don't feel like we had a hard time. And the thing I kept on sort of saying with Adam was, we just need to get through that 1.5 minute pitch. After that, there's nothing that they can ask us that's gonna trip us up. Yeah. They don't know our business better than us. So we literally just needed to get through that first 1.5 minutes, and then after that we were just chilled out. We were just like, okay, cool. It is what it is. Whatever happens, happens.
Okay, dope experience. And then you got support from one of the Dragons.
We got an offer.
Yeah.
Well, we got 2 offers and we accepted one. But that's pretty much as far as it went.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got 2 offers. We got an offer from Deborah Meaden.
Yeah.
But the percentage didn't work for us in terms of how much equity she wanted for the investment.
So what was your? Because remember, you guys go in saying what you want, innit?
Yeah.
What was your initial? Like, what was your asking?
If I remember correctly, I think initial asking was 50K investment for 2.5%.
Okay.
The
cool.
company.
All right.
And I was informed by 2 things. One, we had already raised a round of investment prior to us going in there. And then 2, I just understood it. I was like, I know you guys are going to try to ask us. If I don't say the correct thing, you're going to try to say 40%. And then it's going to be like, all right, we're not going nowhere. So it was kind of just like bearing those things in mind, knowing that they were going to push it up. But yeah, we got an offer from Deborah, and then we got an offer from Stephen Bartlett. And we went with the offer with Stephen.
What was the offer from Stephen again?
50K for 10% of the business.
Okay.
But yeah, after the show, when me and Adam had a chance to really sort of like sit down and think, okay, cool, does this actually make sense for us?
Yeah.
I think it was just like, nah, we're not sure.
Okay.
So you didn't follow through with it then?
Nah, in the end, we didn't feel like it was the right thing for us. So yeah.
But have you still got a relationship with Stephen moving forward?
Again, this is why I said it's an interesting story for all kind. Basically, it's like
you're not listening. Come on.
I think it's TV is interesting because I think you learn what's done. Basically, it's just an opportunity for you to really sort of assess people's intentions. So after something is all said and done, then it's like, okay, cool. What was this for? Was this really that, okay, cool, you're about this? Or was it, it's going to look cool when it comes out?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we sort of like peeped and we were just like,
yeah,
I'm not sure.
All right, then. So speak to me a bit about this product and stuff. Like, do you actually like buy into it, use it every day? Because obviously, I'm a man. I believe this.
I've got like a load of it for you guys. As well.
I'm not gonna lie.
Top tip.
In certain circles, I'm called a skinfluencer.
Okay, sick.
You know what I'm saying? But like, I believe all that stuff's a hoax. Because I ain't got no skincare routine.
Got you.
You get what I'm trying to say? It's me and God.
Yeah.
And water.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I wake up more time glowing. So I'm saying like, it's just, how could you improve on greatness? Like, what would this do for me? Talk to me about it, man. Talk about it.
So first thing is like, look, some people are gonna just be blessed with great genetics, so they're not gonna like have as many issues as somebody else. That being said, there are genuine concerns and issues that some people will face that our product's going to help to address. So, for example, there are like one of like the really obvious ones, also based on my experience, is just like ingrown hairs, razor bumps, which a lot of guys at some point will face. Like whether you use a stick or you go to the barbershop and use clippers and that happens. It's something that does cause insecurity, and there aren't that many products on the market to address it. That being said, there is a standout ingredient that when you do the research, you will find that time and time again, they're saying this is a great ingredient to use to help address it. And that ingredient is salicylic acid. So don't be alarmed by the fact that it says acid in the name. It's not anything crazy. It's not going to burn up your face or anything like that. It's actually quite gentle on the skin. So what we did is we included that in our cleanser. But then what we also did is we included it in the toner as well. So it's kind of like, I guess it's a double helping of addressing that in a particular concern. The other thing is hyperpigmentation. So like, if you've had any kind of like, cut, burn, sting, anything that may result in scarring on your face, you'll notice that when that healing process starts, or even like acne, when that healing process starts, you may find that there are areas of your skin that come up darker than other areas. That as well can cause insecurity and be a reason for people to sort of feel like a way about their skin. So again, the ingredients that we have in our products, i.e. stuff like niacinamide, which helps with that and helps with brightening the skin, are things that scientifically proven. There's loads of studies on them that will help to address these concerns. And these are all of the things that we took into account when we were formulating our products. It was like, these are the key concerns that we want to make sure we address. What are the best ingredients we need to put into our products? And on top of that as well is you'll find that there are loads of products on the market that will say, hyaluronic acid or this or that or whatever it may be. Within the industry, what you can do is you can put enough of a percentage of that ingredient to claim it on your marketing, but then it may not be enough for it to actually be effective. What we did with all of our products was, we're not going to do that. If we can't put it in to the extent that it's actually going to be beneficial to the user, we're just not going to have it in there.
So you say a lot of work went into getting the formula right, and
it took us over a year and a bit, a lot of time, a lot of speaking to dermatologists, experts in the space, trials with it to finally get to this place. So.
Are there real disadvantages and using, I use shower gel, body cream. Yeah. I mean, whatever. I got one cream and one shower gel, rude boy. Yeah.
Yeah. That's everybody.
For everything. Yeah. For my arm, my face, for my foot bottom, rude boy. It's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Is that actually bad for you?
Short answer, yeah. Because, for example, there are ingredients that and there are things that can be put into shower gels. Well, first things first. The skin generally for your body and the skin for your face is different. And then if you're using shower gel on your face, which may contain things like sulfates, which can be really drying, and then you're using it on your skin and your face. I don't know if you've noticed this, but then when you actually finally dry off, you'll notice that your face is really tight. And if you smile, it kind of feels like it's stretching out.
So how would you explain I've been thriving for so long?
Bro, genetics is saving you. But this is the thing.
I'm playing.
It's busting you now, and touch wood, things will just be blessed. But it's later on when, the aging sort of, stages start to kick in, that it's all you have to do is look at Pharrell. This is a guy who's been saying, okay, have a skincare routine. But this guy looks like he just refuses to age. And these are the benefits of having a skincare routine. So it's all good and well now, us being oh no, I don't need it. But, when we start to knock on it, it will make a difference.
I think there are levels that you can reach that you ain't touched yet, bro.
You reckon, yeah?
100%. It's the skin filter.
I've got to give these other men a chance to breathe, man. You know what I'm trying to say? I can't try to monopolize the
market. But like you said, a lot of time went into actually coming up with the formula and stuff, yeah. What is that process actually like, though? Do you have to go to where do you go? You know what I'm saying?
So for us, the first thing was just a lot of independent research.
Okay.
So in terms of product development, that's pretty much my bag. That's this thing that I was okay, cool, I'm super into this. So a lot of it was me sort of just looking into that myself. And then after that, it was validating my thoughts and findings with actual dermatologists, actual experts in this space to understand, okay, cool. On a real molecular and scientific level, what do I need to do and what do we need to keep take into consideration? What can be used, what can't be used, what are the misunderstandings to make sure that we get this completely right? And then after that, it was then, okay, cool. We have knowledge of what it is that we're trying to create, the ingredients that we want to use for it, a rough idea of how it's going to be formulated. And then we found our contract manufacturer, and what they do is they basically deal with sourcing all of your raw ingredients, running tests to make sure that it's going to be stable on its own, the actual formulation on its own to make sure that's going to be stable, but then also to ensure that it's going to be stable with any packs. So the packaging that you use, that also has to be put together and made sure that that's going to be stable. And then we also we work with a cosmetic formulator as well, and she's got like decades worth of experience, woman of color. So she fully understood what we were doing, and she was also there as well to advise us along the way. So even though we've spoken to dermatologists, even though we're working with these contract manufacturers, she was also on side as well to be like, this percentage that they're trying to put into this thing, don't do it that way, because maybe they're trying to do that to save cost or to boost profits. So it was like the whole way through, it was us making sure, now we need to make sure we get to the best product possible. So yeah, that was the process.
You mentioned like costs and stuff, yeah. How much of that was in your mind when coming out with this product? Because I'm assuming it's not the cheapest thing on the market, right? Because obviously you care about the quality. But how did you draw that line where it's like, okay, this is affordable for the man them, but it's still something where it's like, I'm not using the cheapest ingredients, and you know what I'm saying?
We're not the cheapest on the market, but that's only because like that's if you try to compare us to like maybe the likes of, let me not even say any brands, but like if you walk into a supermarket and you just find, that might come in at like £5 or whatever it may be. So yeah, we're not in that ballpark. But we're still very affordable, especially if you compare us to like some of these. Do you know what? Yeah, there's some brands where like they slap a crazy price point on their thing, and I'm just like, this is nuts. Because when I look at your ingredients, it's no different to like what someone else is doing. But anyway, in our case, I kind of went into it knowing that there's a certain price bracket that people are willing to sort of pay for something like this, and that's because before we launched anything, me and Adam were sending out like loads of surveys to people to understand what do you need, what are your concerns, how much would you pay for this, yada yada yada. So we took that to our contract manufacturers. We took that when we're talking to our cosmetic formulator as well to say, this is the product that we want to create, and it has to sit within like a price point that a cost point that allows us to sell it at within this price point.
Do you find people respect the products more if it's like at a higher price point?
Yeah, I guess like looking at society broadly, yeah, you'd assume so. It's funny because there was even like that funny video recently where they created like this fake footwear store and they made it, and people were like, oh, maybe. I think in our instance, it wasn't even a thing of like trying to make it expensive or anything like that. We were literally just like, okay, cool. We have to price it in a way that actually makes sense. We probably could have charged more, but the thing with me and Adam is like, at the end of the day, we have to build something that allows that if we weren't the founders of this, would we buy it and would we be able to afford it? And I think the key thing as well is like when you do buy the Temple products, you get like 2 months usage out of it. I think if you're going to buy the full set, if you buy it as a one-off, it's like £54. But if you buy it as a subscription, it reduces down to like £45. And over the course of the 60 days, it works out like less than £1 a day. So we're not actually like, charging anything ridiculous for it. So yeah.
A couple of women have asked if they can use this.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think that the key thing is just the fact that we identified that men of color as a demographic is being overlooked by the industry. The same way women can find products that contain hyaluronic acid or ceramides, which is in our moisturizers. It's the same thing. It's they can use it as well. It's just we particularly wanted to speak to an audience of people who have been like overlooked and ignored for like a really long time.
And when you actually went to like the dermatologists and all these people with experience, you actually made it clear to them that like this is gonna be directed at pretty much black people to some degree. Yeah.
Well, the term we used was like melanin rich skin, which is like a spectrum. But yeah, we definitely made it clear to them.
Because I was just thinking about like it's not exactly related, but you know how for example certain conditions present differently on black people than they do with white people. You know what I'm saying? So I was just thinking in a similar way, like you're saying, we have certain issues like the hyperpigmentation and maybe just other things that present differently to us. That surely not surely, but the product may address because of those particular things, because it's for us, if that makes sense. So obviously, yeah, you're pretty much saying that.
Can the women's sons use this? Adolescent boys.
Yeah, we've had parents contact us with like teenage sons. What I say though is because they're going through puberty and like a lot of things are going on, do a patch test first. So what you can do is you can take the product and you basically like put it behind the ear or you put it on the inside of the elbow and just sort of like assess it over like 24 to 48 hours and sort of just see how the skin responds to it. There shouldn't be any reaction. Like we formulated this with sensitive skin in mind, but just do like anything, you know, crazier things have happened. So just like do a patch test just to make sure and assuming that there's no reaction or they don't feel any kind of like irritation, then yeah, it's a green light to go ahead.
I'm shook. I'm always like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So, because like I see a man live his life normal, then try go vegan, then pop down. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, because you know what I'm saying? His body's not used to all that. Like, obviously, like where the water and God's been serving me so well, I'm thinking if I start adding foreign bodies now, I'd like to try and improve it, but then I mash it up because I break this. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
So the only thing that you may notice is your skin may go through a process of purging. Okay. And essentially purging is like where, yeah, you know, you'll notice that like some people identify it as a breakout. It's not actually a breakout. It's just that your skin is purging like toxins and because of the actives in the product, your skin your cell renewal is speeding up. So that's basically what. But if you ride it out, you will find that like that will clear away and you will start to see the benefits. One of the people, like a close example is so Chucky, who like we sort of like have a relationship with from HC. He was also like, oh, you know, he just used, you know, shower gel, soap, whatever it is, cocoa butter, blah blah blah, whatever it is, and we were just like, okay, cool, take the products and just try it, and we just left it with him, and then he came back and he was like, yeah, this thing is 30, and people around him were the ones that confirmed it to him. It's one thing you sort of like feeling like something's going on, but when other people around you are like, yo, did you do something different? So that's what I would say. So it's all good and well now. Like, yes, you know, God's doing you nice. Take the products, live with it, and then let us know what's happening.
All right, then I'll try that definitely.
You know how, is it one of those, obviously I'm trying to not make it sound some type of way, but like, you know how like a lot of these products, they say, oh, wash your face twice a day and all that type of stuff, yeah. Obviously a lot of people are not used to that, right? Like getting into the routine of that. If you didn't wash your face twice a day and do the whole cream before bed and all that type of stuff, firstly, is creaming your face before bed actually a good thing? Reason why I'm saying that is because wouldn't that just make your skin more oily? Or am I completely off?
So like, if you're gonna wash your face, I mean, in our case it's different because our cleanser doesn't. It depends what you're using. Some cleansers will strip like your skin of like its natural oils and stuff. So in that instance, you don't want to go to bed with like a dry, tight face. So yeah, like applying a moisturizer. It's just like it's hydration. Like it's just that's the best way to look at it. You're just hydrating the skin. Like you're just restoring that hydration back into your skin that you may have like stripped out. But in terms of like forming a routine, it really doesn't take that long. And I think one thing we've done as well is like, yeah, there are free products, you know, but you could just buy the cleanser and the moisturizer. Okay. That in itself would still be just as fine and would do it. If you're short on time, you can just do that. And just like combine it with what you ordinarily do anyway. So like you're gonna, you know, I'd hope everybody wakes up and showers in the morning and brushes their teeth.
You would hope, innit?
Yeah. So the same time you're doing that, just keep in mind, okay, cool.
Do that.
Quick, you know, use my cleanser quickly, and then before I head out, I'm gonna, you know, put a moisturizer on my face. If you can do it with a bar of soap and cocoa butter, there's no reason why you can't do it with actual skincare products. And then before you're going to bed, again, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I'd shower and brush my teeth again before I go to bed. And then same way, it's just like you're in the bathroom anyway. The products are in the bathroom. It's within eye shot. It shouldn't be difficult for you to just reach out and say, okay, cool, let me quickly use my cleanser, my moisturizer again. So I think it's just like combine it with stuff that you're doing normally anyway, instead of feeling like, oh, now I need to add this extra step. It's just like, oh, it's just part of the day-to-day.
I think I'm think I'm sold.
Yeah.
Maybe it might have made me a believer still.
Okay.
I'm gonna try it because why not? For real, you know what I'm trying to say. If soap and cocoa butter has been, then what's the hardship? It makes sense.
Yeah.
But I want to know a little bit more about yourself. Can you tell us? Because obviously there's a lot of ladies in the chat. They want to know. Tell us a bit about like your background, ethnicity, where you grew up, areas raised in, them kind of things.
Before you jump into that, do you ship to the US? A couple of our listeners.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. We ship to the US. How long does it take? I think it takes like between 5 to 7 days. But yeah, we ship to the US. Yeah, US, UK obviously, and then Europe as well.
Okay.
My background, so Nigerian parents. So I was born and raised in the UK, East London specifically. Born in Newham General, but I've always sort of like identified as Nigerian first.
Okay. The horns bent, man.
I'm thinking that.
I was sleeping on the job. Sorry.
But yeah, so grew up in Newham, so like Cannon Town, Plaistow, and then when I was 15 or 16. My mum wanted out of Cannon Town. Yeah, she wanted out. So she was like, okay, cool, let's go get. She was like, let's go get like house, garden, blah blah blah, the rest of it. So we ended up moving to Raynham in Essex.
Okay.
And then I did college there, but school was all in like East London, so Tower Hamlets, all of that sort of stuff. And then did college in Essex, and then. Yeah, for me, it was just like, but London, East London is where I want to be at. So yeah, after I did all of that, I just came straight back again.
Real East Sider. Hello, caller. How you doing?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
All good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah. Black Rob, quick question. I actually saw the Dragon Den. Congrats on that, by the way. Yeah, but also I wanted to ask. Okay, so let's say the product does really well. How do you future-proof? Because I've seen this happen with Tristan Walker in the States with Bevel, right?
Yeah.
So like it did really well, and then it got bought out by one of these big conglomerates like Unilever or P&G. So it's like if your product does really well, and then you can is there any chance you sell to like a big organization, or do you want to keep it in? Because what I've seen is that when you get sold to like a Unilever or P&G or whatever, then they end up buying the product they want extra to the market, and then they strip away the goods because they want higher margins.
Got you. I think I caught what you're asking. So like, how do we future-proof the business and the formulations going forward in the instance of us being acquired by a bigger conglomerate?
Yeah, so that it can still be the products that you want it to be, even if do you want it to get acquired, or would you want to keep it in-house? Organization.
Yeah, so I'm the kind of person I try to take care of what's right in front of me. I think if I think too much about like being acquired by P&G or Unilever or whatever else it may be, it's really easy to sort of like get lost in that. I think, of course, like let me not try to pretend as if, you know, we're not trying to build a business to eventually sort of like realize the value of it, but I try to stay grounded in what we're doing on a day-to-day basis. In terms of future-proofing what happens moving forward, I think there are actually like examples of people who have been able to do that. If you look at like Sheer Moisture and what they've been able to do, they've been able to like still maintain like the efficacy of their products going forward. I think it just it's one of those things that if you're getting acquired, like those can be, you know, conversations during that process where it's like, okay, cool, you want to acquire the business. What are your intentions for our products moving forward, and what kind of guarantees can you put in place that this isn't going to be this isn't going to be a completely different business, or formulations aren't going to be completely different in years to come because you're trying to sort of like make an additional profit. But yeah, of course, that's something that we will keep in mind and want to keep in mind in the instance that we get to that place.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it's never too early, you know, because it looks like a good product. So it's like, obviously, yeah. It's always good to like support a business, but it's always a shame when you see them get into other hands, then everything that was unique about it changes. But yeah, no, thanks for the answer, man.
No, it's calm. Thank you.
Thanks for that,
Thanks
Black
for
Rob,
it,
man.
Shouts out Black Rob.
That's one. But
Is it important to you to have, are you like proud of having like a black-owned business and important that is black-owned and stuff like that, or do you just you are black anyway and this is your business and that's your baby anyway, so you're still gonna feel the same way anyway, or is the blackness tied to it something that's important to you?
It is important to me, and I think if I'm being completely honest, like the timing of me wanting to start Temple when I did was because I was like, if I'm being completely frank, I was like, I want to work with us. I want to work with us. I want to build for us. I want to interact with us. If you know, when we eventually get to that point where we're able to hire people, there's so many times you go to a Teams page and you're just like, rah, we're really not there. But there's like, why is that not why is that not the case? And I think at the time, so I was actually working, I was working at EY at the time, and I had this funny moment at work where I was just like, I come to work and like my colleagues, like, you know, white counterparts, they come to work and work for them is like they're with their boys and their girls. It's just like, it feels like an extension of their social life where like, right, you lot really come to work and make real friends. Whereas for me, I was like, the only time I've ever experienced that was one company I worked at where it was legit a diverse team, like loads of black people, Asian people, there were white people as well, but that was like, okay, cool, like I've actually made friends there. And I was just like, right, it'd be mad interesting if what is me being the minority in this working environment was flipped and it was actually like, no, the majority of us kind of like all look the same. So that for me was like a motivator to be like, I want to build something where I can literally bring my whole self to work and I can talk the way I want to talk at work and wear what I want to wear. And I don't need to run off at lunchtime because I need to recharge. I can just be like in my element with the people that I'm around. So yeah, it is important to us. It's really important to us. And it's the reason why we make the culture such a like obvious part of what we do. Like if you go to our Instagram, you watch like the content, the videos. Like we recently did a routine video, and we reached out to one of the guys, Oscar, who's part of like a group called Mini Kings, and I was just like, yeah, we want to use your song because it fits. Like we want it to be obvious that this is like a cultural thing. So yeah, it's super important to us.
Obviously, it would be difficult starting up a business and making a new product in a space and all that kind of stuff, regardless anyway. But do you notice any like difficulties that you think are because you're black?
I think probably just the funding part. And it's like, it's funny because we have been able to like get access to funding, but then I still feel like in comparison to what like the access that like other groups will get access to, that's the one part where it's like, okay, that's the challenge, because for the most part we don't like, initially when you start your business and you want to get like that first bit of funding to get in and to like, you know, really get things going, you might have someone who says, I went to go speak to my uncle and he gave me a little 50 racks or whatever. We don't have that, like, or not yet.
Yeah, I
think our generation is definitely changing that, and with years to come, like we'll see more of that. But for right now, it was like that was the one thing that felt like a challenge. I think with anything else, like I can't say we've necessarily experienced any major difficulties because we've just been so locked in with us, and by us I mean like our community, that we haven't really sort of like been in any sort of spaces where we've felt like we've been held back by what anyone else is doing. We've just been like, look, okay, cool, we made this for us and we're gonna find a way to talk to us. So with that, like things have just been, yeah, we always say we're having fun, and it's because like we're just enjoying the process. So yeah.
All right, then that's dope. Do you think you could you share like some of your goals for the business, like short term or long term or whatever? Like what are you actually really trying to go with?
Short term, we want to expand the range. So at the moment, we've got 3 products: cleanser, toner, moisturizer. I'm doing a lot of like research and conversations with our customers to find out what do you want to see next, like what products you want us to launch next, even to the extent of like what completely new category do you want to see us launch next. Like, do people want us to start doing beard products? Do you want us to do hair products? Do you want us to do body products, i.e. shower gels, lotions, etc. So that's like the short-term thing. Medium term, I think for us, accessibility is a big thing. So getting into the retail stores. So that experience that I had going into a store and it's like there was nothing there for me, we want to completely like change that narrative and make sure that people can walk into a store and have the confidence that, okay, cool, there are products there to address this for me. And then long term, yeah, it's just like our thing is like the ambition is global. So I think it's all good and well that we're sort of like making tracks in the UK. Obviously, America's a huge market. Europe is another big market. But I actually think that there's a huge opportunity in Africa. It may not be like in the same form that we're doing it now with e-commerce, but I think there are definitely like wholesale opportunities there. So yeah, that's like where we're at in terms of our goals.
I love the vision.
Appreciate it, man.
I was going to ask you something. Can you actually get the product in stores?
Not yet.
Okay, cool.
Not yet. There's a few sort of like collaborations that we've got lined up that we'll be able to sort of like announce a little bit later. But for right now, yeah, like everything is almost exclusively available on our website.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what's the website again, please?
So it's www.tmpl.care. So yeah, temple.care.
Okay, all right, cool. We tend to ask every guest that comes a couple questions, right? Tell us something that nobody knows about you.
It don't have to be heavy. It could be a
No, I'm just trying to clock because more time I'm an open book. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
Don't say you don't use the product.
Damn. What does nobody know? Maybe. Oh, this is rubbish. But like, yeah. So Nigerian, if you're Nigerian, that you'll be aware of like the different kind of stews. Sometimes it's chicken, sometimes it's beef, sometimes fish. I cannot have fish stew. I'm not on it. Won't have it. Like if my mum makes it, tries to offer it. I'm like, listen, at this point, you should know that that's not my lane. And I think I'm pretty certain that it's because the fish that we use, I'm not even sure which kind of fish it is, but like you get like the little bones.
Yeah.
And I'm convinced that like the reason why I don't like it is because maybe I was young, I was force fed this fish stew. I got some of the fish, a bone got stuck in my throat. And from there, I was just like, nah, I'm not on it. Yeah, trauma, so I'm not on it. So, yeah, I wish there was something more interesting to say other than that, but yeah.
No, that's interesting. My brother's exactly the same way, man.
Got you.
They also want to know what tribe are you from.
Oh, Yoruba.
It had to be the best tribe. He's a visionary. It had to be Yoruba. Can we have another home for the Yoruba, please, bro? Thank you. All right.
Would you class yourself a Yoruba demon?
Nah, man.
It doesn't exist.
And the reason why I hesitated with that, because I was like, we get such a bad rap. The PR, it's because the PR is crazy. Because the thing is, I feel like anytime you mention Yoruba, you know it's coming. So when it landed, I was just like, wow, even in what I thought was a safe space, we're still throwing that out. But yeah, nah, man. We get a bad rap, but I mean, this is gonna sound a bit mad. I personally feel like Nigerian men right now are like the taste of the moment. So regardless of whether you're an African woman, Caribbean woman, Caucasian, whatever it may be, you've come across a Nigerian guy at some point. Some of you have good experiences, some of you have bad experiences. But by the sheer fact that so many of you are dealing with Nigerian men, everyone's got a story. So because of that, that's why we're getting bad PR. At one point, it was men from a different country, but yeah, it is what it is. But no, not.
Yeah, no,
part
thank
of
you,
the
man, because the
demons,
Jamaicans was catching a lot of heat. You get me? So I appreciate you guys stepping up and carrying some of the load. You get what I'm saying? All right, cool. And just finally, have you got like a life lesson or a piece of life advice you can give to our audience, to people out there? Something that you feel is a bit poignant, you know?
Or even just some advice to some up and coming. new businesses, whatever?
See, I don't know. I'm not really like a big advice person, but I think it's funny. Like, I think people will see what me and Adam are doing, and they'll say, "Oh, you guys are brave," blah blah blah, and the rest of it. And I feel like it's not that this isn't scary. Like, you definitely have days that are scary, and you're like, "Oh, is this gonna work? Is it not gonna work?" Blah blah blah, and the rest of it. I think the thing I'd say is like, yeah, feel the fear, acknowledge the fear. It's fine. Fear is normal, and just do it anyway. Like every day of what we do, like there's an element of fear, but it's like you just have to just push through and just do it. Just roll the dice. Yeah. That's the main thing. Just roll the dice. And if it works out, great, amazing. If it doesn't work out, then that just wasn't for you, and that's okay as well. You're getting closer to what will be for you. So yeah, just roll the dice on stuff and see what happens.
That's dope, man. It's been a good interview, man. Thanks for having
Appreciate
us.
it. Yeah, thanks for coming.
You just want to give out your socials one more time so people know where to find you or your website or whatever it may be?
Yeah, so the website is www.tmpl.care. Instagram is tmpl_care. So yeah, those are like the main ways that you can catch us. So,
don't worry, Achilles. We're gonna talk off camera. I'm gonna see if I can get a little discount code for you or something. We're gonna see. Yeah, it's gonna be in the works. I'm gonna try. You know, I'm always fighting for the people already. So we'll see where I go on. No, man, but that was dope, man. Thanks for having us, man. I mean, thanks for being there, man. Definitely.
No, man, I appreciate it.
Are you staying for the rest of the show?
Yeah, yes. What's the...
So I've probably got like 15 minutes.
Yeah, still until Izzy can't. What's the yucca rating?
A what?
YUKA.
Oh, the app. There's an app that you can scan barcodes to see like how natural or good it is for you. Okay. Good question. I don't actually know if we're registered on that. I'm not sure. But yeah, like check it. You can, I don't know. Yeah, if you've already bought the products and you got the app, like scan the barcode. But yeah, I don't know if we're actually registered on that yet.
Cool, thank you.
All right, cool, man. That's a great interview, man. Let's get into more headlines now, then.
Asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
Oh my God, you are killing me today. Let's do asking for a friend. All right, cool. So today's asking for a friend. It says, "Hi TDA, please don't say my name as I'm in the community. I had second thoughts sending this as I'm not sure I should even be feeling this way. But recently there has been a similar Recently there have been a similar conversation had about this recently online, and I'd like to know what you all think. I've been friends with this guy for 10 years. We've always been pretty close, but lately I've been feeling really envious of his success. He just got a promotion at work, he's dating a beautiful woman, and he seems to have everything go his way. I know I should be happy for him, but I can't help but feel resentful. I feel like I'm not good enough, and that I'll never be as successful as he is. I'm not sure how to deal with these feelings. I don't want to let my envy ruin our friendship, but I also don't want to feel this way. What should I do?" Let's put it out to the room.
I think we should start with Raph, you know?
How does that sound like, Raph? Sounds like he's got a lot of hating on his heart. Bad mind energy. It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a funny one because I feel like jealousy is like it can happen. I feel like jealousy and envy is different. I feel like jealousy, fine, like something can happen for someone and you could be like, oh, like, you know, I kind of want that to happen for me as well. I think envy and resentment, though. I think resentment is something else. Like,
it sounds like you start to dislike this person because of the success.
Yeah. I don't really know what to advise on it. I guess like I'm a big advocate for therapy, so maybe chat to a therapist and see what they say.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of people can't handle their emotions. You get me? You don't sound like you got the emotional maturity to deal with these feelings because we're only human, innit? Like, and we feel things like what you're saying, like that jealousy and stuff like that. It's just, it can be natural response to people, but to let it turn into envy and resentment is just you not like. Because I don't understand what you're gonna get out of this. Why couldn't you try and use it as motivation? Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is that you see that's what you want for yourself. That's standards that you set for yourself. Your friends showing you that they're attainable. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So you should use that as motivation for you to go out there and get what you want. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, obviously he's your friend. You can take their air. You can see from example. I don't know if it's their work ethic or whatever, but you need to be doing everything within your power to get to where you want to get to in life. Not just sit there hating, because that ain't gonna get you it. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, and if you can't understand why these persons, like, everybody ain't got the same story. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you can't understand why this person has this success in their life or whatever, like, then you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? That, but you can't look at everybody's things and what they got and just compare it to yourself and feel like you should have it, feel like you're entitled to it. Like, there's obviously reasons why they have these things. You know what I'm trying to say? And I think maybe you should just need to look into the mirror and just use it for self-improvement. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, wherever you feel like you're falling short in life, just try and step up and try and improve yourself. And again, just use it as motivation, because what else you gonna do? You cutting off that friendship or ruining that friendship is not gonna change. It's not gonna make you more successful, bro.
At all.
So,
Danielle put something in the chat. She said, talk to your friend, learn from him, leverage what he knows, be transparent, and you'll feel more free in your heart.
there you go.
See, I feel like there must be like a void in his life, innit? Everyone, I believe anyway, everyone has a purpose, right? And when you start pursuing that purpose, I feel like you start increasing the fulfillment in your life, right? But a lot of the time, individuals are not people who don't have a purpose are not necessarily always with people who do have a purpose. So it seems like this person has a purpose, is pursuing it, is happy, and because he doesn't, it's like the difference is glaringly obvious. You know what I'm saying? But typically, a lot of people who walk around life aimlessly, who don't have purposes, are with other people just the same. So you don't necessarily notice the difference in your life, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? But he's seeing it. Long story short, I would say, look within, find your purpose. Because I feel like when you put your energy towards that, you're going to focus less on what you're missing because of all the great things in his life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, you got to use it to inspire yourself so you can elevate yourself. You could be greater. I try not to have any hate in my heart.
100%.
That's why my skin's so good. You know what I'm trying to say? No. Where's the horns, Brent?
Sorry.
No, but like, I'll try and make it my business to have people around me that's doing better than me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say?
exactly,
Because that's what I want to learn off. That's what I want to. That's what I want to elevate to. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't want everybody doing worse or being on the same level, because I don't understand. I feel like each one teach one. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I want inspirations of success around me, so I can be better. You know what I'm trying to say? That. So, yeah, man. I don't know, man. You just got to find a way to cut all that hate out your heart, bro, man.
But what would you say to him? Because it seems like people like us in a room here, we would love to be people, like you said, who are doing better, because you feel like you have something in you to improve. He may feel as though, you know what, I just don't have the tools to be better. And seeing his friend always thriving is what's kind of killing me type of thing. Like, can he improve? Like, you know what I'm saying? What would you say to him if that's the situation? That he feels inadequate, that he can't really improve his situation.
Say that again, sorry. I blacked out. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. I don't know what.
It's because you don't empathize with haters. You know what
That's what it is.
But it's because he read in the chat that somebody said, Mags, you said yesterday your skin was troubled.
Yeah, but look at the recovery. Aaron Wan-Bissaka recovery, babe. Look now. Huh? Come on, man. What are we doing here?
I hear that.
Sorry, what did you say, though? It was that comment that got me as well.
I was saying, what would you say to him if he actually feels like he feels inadequate? You know what I'm saying? That he doesn't really have, possess the tools to actually improve himself that much.
I don't know. You know what it is? I've always liked to be a realness. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I said, I don't have delusions of grandeur. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I want to work within my capabilities. And sometimes it's hard to tell you, like, if you can't do something, sometimes you just have to have that that honest conversation with yourself and manage your expectations. You know what I'm trying to say? Because again, what's going on over there might not be your story. Like you might not be capable of achieving these things. Like honestly, I don't like to limit anybody because everyone's to say, oh yeah, you could be anything what you want, you could do that, and that's a nice attitude to have. But some people can't. You know what I'm trying to say? Like some people don't have the skill set, don't have the talent, don't have the resources, whatever it may be. You know what I'm trying to say? But you just need to look in the mirror and just need to find peace within yourself, man, and know what you can achieve. Set realistic and attainable goals for yourself, and just enjoy that journey in achieving those, innit?
Yeah, for real.
That's it, man.
Yeah, I think that's some good advice, man.
All right, there you go, Killy, man. I hope that works out for you, man. But, let's get into our last headlines then.
Before you go,
You keep doing this to me.
Sorry. I know he's gonna be gone soon. You said you advocate for therapy, heavy. Why is that?
I just think it's been really beneficial for me. Yeah, just like my personal experience. I have friends around me who they've also sort of gone through therapy as well, and it's been beneficial for them. I think a lot of the time people have like this mindset that somehow if you go to therapy it means that something's wrong with you. No, not necessarily. Like it's funny, going to therapy is literally just sort of like being in a room with someone who will listen to you speak about like what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, and there's just no judgment. There's no judgment. It's just a safe space for you to say stuff that you're maybe carrying around with you every day, and to just have like someone opposite you with like a really impartial position on it to sort of maybe check, maybe, you know, sometimes check you on like, okay, maybe your perspective on this isn't, you know, what you may think it is. And it's not in a way of them being like, oh, you're wrong or you're right. Sometimes it's just them asking an additional question. You say you feel like this and they ask, okay, cool, like, what does that mean to you? Why do you feel like that? So what do you want to do about it next? And going through that process, a lot of the time the work doesn't actually happen in your therapy session. It's going through that process with someone and then coming out of the session and then you continuing to sort of like meditate on that conversation, that then allows you to sort of like have breakthroughs. So yeah, I'd say people should give it a go. I understand that you know, it's not cheap. It can be really expensive. But yeah, like if you can get access to it, then you know, don't be afraid of it.
Well, what type of things kind of went into your thought process when it came to choosing the therapist?
One, they have to be black.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to like speak about like my experiences, and there's like almost like an instant understanding and connection of what I'm speaking on. And then for me, it was just like particular things within myself that I knew I wanted to sort of like talk about. And then sort of like going through what they say that they specialize in, and then being like, okay, cool, I want to go with this person. My first therapist was off recommendation as well. So a friend of mine had gone through therapy with this particular therapist, and was like, "Oh, you should speak to her." Boom, boom. I think like this will work for you. But then outside of that, there's websites that you can go on. I think there's I think it's called the Black and Asian Therapist Network. I think if you Google BAATN. I think the website should come up, and then you can just go through like a list of therapists there, and then just sort of look through it, figure out if they sort of like address what you want to talk about. And then the other thing you'll get is with all of these therapists, you'll have like an initial session with them, which will be an opportunity for you to just sort of gauge the vibe. Like, you know, is it a good fit for you? If it is, then it's like you then talk about like a longer term plan. But if it isn't, no harm done. You can just be like, okay, cool. I feel like I want to speak to other therapists and see where I'll eventually land. Okay, cool.
Mark, when are you starting, man?
What, therapy?
Yeah.
I ain't got no Ross Clark therapy. I'm straight, man. This is my therapy, man. You get me? I'll be talking every day, blood. Now you want to do more talking. I'll be alright. I'm old school. I'm one of them. I'm made of the strong stuff. You know what I'm saying? And no matter what happens, I'm gonna be all right. So
amen.
That's a word. Yeah, man. Let's get into our final headlines then.
All right, so trigger warning. This some sad news, man. But a woman has been charged with manslaughter after the death of an 11-year-old girl. Fatiha Sabrin died on 11th of December 2021 in Shadwell in East London. She was found unresponsive at a residential property in Sutton Street and taken to hospital, but died later the same day. A few days after her death, her talent was recognised in a writing competition. The Met Police say that they charged Jasmine Akhtar, who's 33, with manslaughter and importing a regulated substance on Friday. This was on the 28th of July. She's now going to appear at Thames Magistrates Courts on Tuesday, the 22nd of August. The charges follow an investigation by detectives from the Met Specialist Crime Command. And the last headline, also trigger warning, and a British man's freed by a Cypriot court after being sentenced for killing his seriously ill wife has said that he could not find the words to describe his release. David Hunter was convicted of the manslaughter of his wife, Janice, who's 74, in an assisted suicide at their Paphos home in 2021 and jailed for 2 years. He's ex-minor, he's from Northumberland, and he was freed after spending 19 months in custody awaiting trial. Outside court, Hunter thanked his family for their support. He had told the trial his wife had cried and begged him to end her life as she suffered from blood cancer. The court heard it was Mrs. Hunter's wish to die and that her husband had only feelings of love for her. Hunter, who was originally from Ashington, said he would never in a million years have suffocated his wife for 52 years unless she had asked him to. He showed the court how he held his hands over Mrs. Hunter's mouth and nose and said he eventually decided to grant her her wish after she became hysterical. The court heard he then tried to kill himself by taking an overdose, but paramedics arrived in time to save him. And that's it for the headlines.
All right, well, it's definitely time to pay some bills as well, right?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, then, cool. Let's get into our reaction, last sports headlines of the day. Okay, then. So, as you know, the Women's World Cup is currently going on. Still riveting stuff. Make sure you are locked in. I'm going to read off some of these results for you lot here. So, on Tuesday, Monday scores. The Costa Rica women lost 3-1 to Zambia.
Big up Zambia.
Yeah, big them up. Japan beat Spain 4-0. And I believe they didn't even conceded a goal all tournament. Spanish. No, the Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah, they've been cooking. I don't think they conceded a goal all tournament. And the Japanese got them just coming. You know what I'm saying? Cooked them up quickly. Australia beat Canada 4-0 as well. And Nigeria drew 0-0 with the Republic of Ireland. And then also these early hours of the morning results. USA drew 0-0 with Portugal. And Holland absolutely battered Vietnam 7-0. Sounds like a real cooking over there. Yeah. In some other news, not other headline, well, what looks like our only headline, which I'm going to read out to you. It says, Daniel Dubois for shock win. Oleksandr Usyk won't know what's hit him, says promoter Frank Warren. So Frank Warren's going for it. Okay, cool. Ambitious British contender Daniel Dubois will be looking to upset Unify champion Alexander Usyk later this month when with the world's top heavyweights set for action over the weeks to come. Promoter Frank Warren believes Dubois can shock the formidable Usyk and the world on August the 26th and beat the formidable Ukrainian to win the IBF, WBO and WBA titles when they fight in Poland. I'm confident because I believe in him, Warren told Sky Sports. Usyk is a very, very good fighter. He's a great cruiserweight. He's done everything that's been asked of him. But I look at the fights and I just don't just look at their last performances. Usyk is returning to the ring after 12 months out since defeating Anthony Joshua on points for the second time to defend his unified titles.
Are you going to watch it?
Yeah. I'm going to watch it. I see someone the other day saying that they said there's going to be a shock in boxing somewhere and they think maybe that's where it's going to come.
Oh, no, it's definitely not going to be that.
Say no chance.
No chance.
I think the shock was probably Spence and Crawford.
Yeah.
For real.
I think everyone knew it was going to be a tough fight, but I didn't think we'd see Spence go out like that. That was hard to watch.
Was you team Spence before the fight?
No, I like both of them equally. But yeah, it was just hard to see Spence like get whooped. It was just like, wow. That's a lot of stuff.
Do you feel like some of the past, like in terms of like the car crash, the fact that he's fought, like he's been in a few wars, right, kind of contributed to that? Or do you feel like it was just...
I've heard that argument, but then like the way we saw him perform in his last fight against you guys, like I feel like he showed that he still got it. So
Well, wasn't that like 18 months ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago, man.
Didn't want to take a warm up on that.
Yeah. Ring rust as well. I don't know. To me, it just seemed like Spence seemed he didn't seem as confident from round one. You know what I'm saying? And I think at the beginning of round two, when Crawford just hit him with a jab, I just thought, nah, this guy doesn't seem the same. He's reaching, he's overreaching. He just never does that. Not to that degree.
He was confident. He started out, he was leading, he was on the front foot, he was the aggressor, he was jabbing a lot, he was trying to use his power. He was confident, and I think the second he realised, it took one round for him to clock. There's levels.
Crawford's actually right-handed.
Yeah.
So that jab it's not like your,
I can't even tell whether he's right-handed. He's just as cold in the southpaw.
It's crazy. But yeah, holding like a jab from someone who's actually right-handed and that's what's coming at you constantly. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Crawford, he's a legend, man. He's definitely one of the greatest of all time now. Has to be.
All right, big up him. That's the end of a great show, man. Let's get into our outro, people. So yeah, man, thanks for tuning in. Shouts out everybody taking part in the chat, everybody that's called in, and obviously our wonderful guests. That was a dope interview. Definitely, thanks for pulling up, man. Yeah, use up, man. Make sure you like the video as well, man. Subscribe, do all it, share all this stuff. Do all the stuff that you're supposed to be doing, man, because you know the routine already. We didn't tell you that again, because we're supposed to tell you that at the top of the show. Brent messed up, but we've got a new Twitter community. No, we've got a new Twitter community, so we're in there. Is the link anywhere to be seen,
it's
Brent?
at the top of the chat. I'm going to make an animated like card so that you don't have to basically blame me for this.
It's at the top of the chat. Make sure you join the community. Make sure you take part. Send us tweets, send us memes, all that good stuff. Send us abuse. Do what you want to do. I don't even mind. You get me? But yeah, man, that's it, man. Great show, man. We'll see you tomorrow morning, man. Wait.
They want to know if you're available.
They want to know if you're a single man.
Me?
Yeah.
Nah, I've got a girl.
Sorry, ladies. But you can still support, man.
Yeah,
you know
man, still support, still run out.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you should have just lied, man. I can see them.
Yeah, but then that's how the whole Yoruba demon thing.
This is it.
Yeah, for real. You gotta break the cycle.
Yes, exactly.
All right, sorry, ladies, man. You just got here looking from afar, man. But yeah, man. Anyway, thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow morning, man. Peace out.